Howdy everybody, and welcome back to Counter's Casual Competition. We're about to get things kicked off today in just a few minutes time, but for any first time viewers, Edry, thank you for the follow. We'll be running 3 rounds of competition here today, and Flowbeam, welcome as well. Where the emphasis here today will be, as always, just having ourselves a grand old time and not worrying about too much of the competition. Joining me for today, an artist extraordinaire, and newly delving into the competitive scene, Nandonut, welcome to the stream once more.
Thank you. Artist currently on hiatus due to unfortunate wrist pain, but you know, hopefully coming back. Yeah, to be honest, that's actually when I tend to get more into TFT. It's when my hands are worse, so I'm like, well, at least I can play this without too much trouble. And yeah, I've been getting into this. It took me about a week and a half or so before trying it out. But having a lot of fun with it so far. Definitely a lot more possibilities with all of the unlocked champions. I mean, it's practically double the amount of champions compared to a normal set. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what our competitors are going to be making of it and how they're going to approach it today.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting coming into this one, wasn't it? Because I'm very cynical about all these things, and my immediate thought was, is more champions better? Given that, certainly in the previous set, people were generally a little bit iffy about the balance in the set. And I was like, oh boy, let's try doubling the amount of options we've got here and see how well it's going. But so far it seems to be so good. A Flowbeam first tournament for you. You're more than welcome. This is hopefully an ideal place for you to get your feet wet. There's plenty of other tournaments as well. Once you get more comfortable in the scene, you can kind of move up the ladder from. And that's why it's a week for another one. Gosh, we're having ourselves a wonderful post-holiday time. And I don't know, I know, we're past just past the holidays, I guess, theoretically. What have you been what's first and foremost on your mind, particularly in relation to what people might be playing in today's tournament?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I have to notice that Twitch prompted me nicely to spend my points on speaking a southern accent for 5 minutes with your 4,000 coins. I mean, I could do that if I really wanted to throw you under the bus.
Oh, I see. Are you going to threaten me with it the entire time? I mean, the real problem is getting me to stop.
Oh god, okay, maybe not then. I don't know. I don't know if it applies to me too, since I'm on the stream. But
I feel like I'll leave the Twitch chat to judge on that one.
Oh dear, yeah, maybe not the best idea for me. Yeah, in terms of the game, I mean, it's interesting partly that we've had this very prolonged patch. Like we've had a B and C patch, but generally speaking, there's not been huge overhauls. I think the initial kind of very heavy Fast 9 meta has been nerfed a little bit. Like I think it's still pretty good in the right situations, but it seemed at first like particularly Bilgewater and Yordles is basically just if you get the opener, you play it, stack all the gold or XP that you get, and then play all the purple and gold champions that you can find. I think there's a bit more flexibility at the moment. I think Piltover T-Hex is definitely on the rise. I'm curious to see whether that's going to be reflected in our competitors, because it seems to be very popular if you get any kind of Caitlyn start at the moment. That, and also the last couple of days, I think there have been some kind of revelations about the use of Bard in basically any comp possible. I was watching Dish Soap stream yesterday, and he actually said that unless, maybe it's possibly different at very high elo, but he said that basically unless he's deliberately trying to win streak, he's unlocking Bard and playing it every single game. And in the game that I saw of his, the vast majority of players had Bard on their board no matter what they were playing. So yeah, we'll see if this is filtered down already into our competition today, but I'm interested in that.
I did read a few game design books when I was studying in university before being summarily thrown out for being rubbish at studying. But one thing that did stick with me from there was the whole idea of degenerate game design, when it's like, oh, if everyone is doing something, then something has gone quite wrong. And I could just imagine, waking up, seeing that Dish Soap video and be like, oh, it might have been a problem before, now it's a problem with a capital P, because everyone and their dog is doing it. It's even giving Nazwad a headache as well. And honestly, what are we going to do about Nandonut? What are we going to do about it?
I do not know, but speaking of one of our other premier comps, Tryndamere already unlocked. I think there's a couple of comps, or a few comps maybe, where this early unlock on the creep rounds is trying to get in your unlocked unit as quickly as possible. I think my APM mechanics are not very good, so I've very regularly failed to put 2 items on the unit on the creep round and ended up being
Mm.
around late. But Enigma has not, however. He's got his Ash Tryndamere in 2-1, got the BT already, half of a QSS, and I think this comp is one that can be very strong with the right kind of opener. And when I say the right opener, I'm talking about one Ash. Is pretty much all you need. So
Oh,
that being said, I'm seeing Ikbin Batman just hit an Ash 2 somehow. I'm guessing,
hmm.
oh, it must be from Warpath.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this is going to change anything or not.
Well, I guess this is the like slightly less worst case now, which is, I think Igbin Batman is not necessarily going to be running Ash Tryndamere reroll, but I suspect he will be sitting on on Ash 2 for a long time. We talked about this before the stream started, that the Ash Tryndamere may be a good reroll, but even if you're temporarily contested, as is the case here, between Enigma and Igby Batman, it's still going to dramatically slow down the point at which you can start moving up levels and really completing the composition.
Yeah, I mean, I think Enigma is just hoping that Batman is just going to hold on to that unit as a bit of temporary power, because you don't really want to be contested on this one. But yeah, I thought Warpath was quite an interesting choice. I feel like it's something that we've not seen that often. It's not generally considered very strong because just getting a 2-star 2 cost is not always enough to guarantee that you can dominate the early game, and with a loss starting off, it's showing
Oh,
it.
yeah.
One thing
Yeah.
I've noticed and might be worth having a look at is Get
Hmm?
Slayed, currently sitting at 110 HP, which is suggesting to me we
Oh,
might have our
yeah.
Ishtal opener.
Let's see what that first quest will be. Oh my
17
gosh.
player combat. Oh my god.
So I saw this before and I was like, doesn't this just seem incredibly easy to do? Like, given that Ishtal generally isn't that great of a vertical trait, like, this doesn't even feel like it's anything apart from just, like, play 17 rounds of combat, get yourself a Brock, get yourself a huge amount of rewards, get slayed. Well, I think it's worth staying in this lobby. We saw Ikbin Batman before, who's playing Warpath, is our reigning solos champion. Get Slayed is a previous champion, along with the Goat, who's in the other lobby, who's also won the event previously. So I think if Get Slayed gets through this 17 round trial and does well, I can see him really dominating this lobby.
Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to do in that you don't need to do anything particular, but the difficulty is basically just surviving the 17 rounds. Um,
Hmm.
my friend took that one when we were playing double up at one point, and he didn't manage to get to the end of it because 17 rounds is a pretty long time. I mean, that's probably like, I think it's maybe, is it carousel or just before the carousel on stage 5?
Yeah, because
So
we've got
you
about
basically just
five.
need to get the whole way.
I suppose the big advantage here, which is a lot of the time is the bait for Ishtal, is there's no incentive to loss really at all. If the assumption is if you get through the 17 rounds, you're probably going to be getting such a big reward that even if you're completely out of gold, completely out of everything else, you're still doing well. But get slayed on a 2-round loss streak. It's Pills, who has started the cider drinking early on, who has managed to maintain his streak during the early going, along with Nandonut, who is our Yordle player. We saw just winning this down. We haven't yet talked about the Vayne composition as being one which I think a lot of people are defaulting to at the moment.
Yeah, I do think this one is very strong. It's one of those that, especially if you get like an early vein out of an orb, similar to I think Draven, is something you can play around. And there's a lot of strength in the unit with items like Kraken, Ginsus, etc., etc. And it's also pretty simple to put together because you can flex stuff in the early game. But it's actually it's a Sona opener. I guess it's maybe from the 2 trick that it got the Xinzao and either the Sona or one of the other ones. So curious to see where this is going to go. Peel's actually decided to pick up a spatula. I mean, he didn't have that much choice,
No.
but even so, I think a spatula's on carousel is something that I've not seen have too much popularity. I guess just because the set is quite a like there's a lot of flexing of higher tier units that the verticals aren't always as strong. But I'd be interested to see whether we're going to go towards Demacia or not. We have slammed the Titans though, which I mean, yeah, it could be a few different things. I think of Diana, but then if you're taking a spatula, then maybe not. So I'm not entirely sure. Planet.
Yeah, because I was thinking of that, and like, I would have thought the bow would have been very, very high priority for the eventual Vayne, if that's the direction we are going, but you're right, maybe there is something else in mind. Certainly, Demacia has served very well so far to hand out another loss to Ikbeam Batman. No, sorry, that's not to Ikbeam Batman at all. That was to...
Get Slayed.
Get Slayed, that's right. Who has been taking the L's.
Well, no need to speculate when we have our players in the chat. Titan Slam was for Bilgewater, but Two Trick changed that plan. Thank you for the info, Pills.
I love having people who are telling us what they're doing during the game.
So yeah, I mean, I guess they're going to have to flex around now based on the items. Obviously, the Titans lends itself to your kind of some sort of melee unit comp. Not entirely sure what that'll be. Perhaps Pills is not entirely sure what that'll be either.
I mean, if we were just taking what we've got directly in front of us, of course we'll be getting some more components coming in as of next round. You can always see the pivot back to Bilgewater, I suppose. We've got the Bilgewater emblem. But as you said before the show started, it's not ideal to be coming back into it a little bit later on because you're missing out on some of those early stacks, but it's not devastating either. Let's have a look at Nandonut. So Nandonut's our Yordle player. We did note that, of course, Yordle has gone from being the economic engine that drives Fast 9 to kind of reverting more back to its own composition with more rewards for 3-starring. I don't know if you've had a chance to mess around with Yordles at all yourself in the current meta, but they don't seem to be necessarily massively high priority for a lot of players.
Yeah, I mean, I have still played it, and I do still play it as like an econ trait. I feel like it's still pretty good. I guess perhaps the fact that I've come in after the first B patch means that I don't have that comparison of what it used to be like. But I think if you get an opener for it and you can get up to that 6 or 8 Yordle quickly, it's still a lot of value that you get from the rerolls and also the big grab bags especially. So I think there's definitely potential for it to just be an econ trait here for Nandonut. And looks like they're just slamming what they get. And yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. There's possibility of flex into some kind of AP comp. There's your kind of Lissandra Invoker stuff. There's still the Arcanist Fast 9 comp, even though that's kind of fallen a little bit out of favor. But I feel like the items look pretty good for it if you do want to go for that, because Annie really needs those at least double mana items. So there's some potential there.
Let's check and see. So we can sort of close some of those doors because I'm noticing that we've got Jarvan in the shop. And Nandonut, I was just checking to see if Nandonut had already sold their 2-star Jarvan. They have not. And I know, personally speaking, Nandonut, I oftentimes just realise that by not doing that little micro quest at the beginning of the game, you do close an appealing door, but Nandonut will maintain their win streak up against Ikbeam Batman, who's the Warpathing player who's really not been on the Warpath this game. Really been struggling. She said, it's a bold choice to take the augment and say, I'm going to be stacking up wins. And then I think so far has, maybe gotten 1 or 2 wins. Yeah, I think probably about 2 wins, maybe 3 if they were small. Maybe this changes later on, but it seems like it's going to be a big dip in power compared to where they could be.
Yeah, they've taken the Bramble Vest, I guess just for more, instant power to try and get some of those wins out in the early game. I feel like with the items, we might be heading towards, and the Leona on the bench might be heading towards a Diana game. Rageblade BT Titans is like your very obvious indicator of what's going on. And with the Leona on the bench is definitely a possibility. It looks like they've chosen to opt for the Bard route, so possibly just like trying to sort of rubber band their way back in by kind of lost streaking, gathering some resources, and then committing to something, and hopefully trying to cash out that Warpath when they get a bit stronger.
You want to take a second just to check back in with Pills and Nandonut because they're up against each other in this round. So it's Demacia with the unslammed spatula against Nandonut, who has been very aggressively pushing through. and slamming everything that's coming their way. I'd have to think that the level 6 on both sides is still weighted pretty heavily in favor of the Yordles, but we'll see. I'm actually impressed by how well Xiao is doing with his Titans.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to be a Teemo diff, like a Teemo 2 diff. I feel like if you had that, you're for sure winning it. It's looking very close. Can the healing come in from the Zins out? It looks like it just about does. And the battle of our streakers goes the way of Pills in the end.
Dang. Alright, well, good on you, Pills. That was an exciting Kevin Parker-like early game to enjoy. I think there's a few players we haven't checked in with as of yet, though. Let's see, so Mighty.
There's a Diana already.
Dang. And it's, we didn't even notice that actually, that it's the Prosperous Ionia in this game, so I'm kind of surprised actually we haven't seen more people. I think we've seen a couple, but not more people just trying to slot that in, if only as an early economic engine.
Yeah, and I was thinking that possibly Pills was going to be trying to head towards Diana, given that they've got the Rage Blade, they've got the Titans, and they've got one Leona. But hitting it already on 3-3, I'm guessing this was perhaps the plan from the start for Mighty, given they took that, the Duplicators, which is just so strong that as soon as you get the first Leona, you've got the 2-star, and then you can slam the items, and then you've got your Diana. So I have a feeling this might have been the plan from the start. Diana did get nerfed a little bit. I can't remember if it was in the B or the C patch, but I feel like still just such a strong unit. It's so obnoxious sometimes. You can beat some really strong boards with it. And just the endless ramp and the dashing, kind of the almost the Akali of this set from last set.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, I certainly remember seeing the heroic grab bag, tech of just grabbing Leona 2 and then immediately getting Diana being nerfed out of existence into making it level 7, but Mighty's still making a strong push. So let's check where we are. So Nandonut and Pills, they were our win-streaking players. They are no longer as of the stage 3 carousel, but they are both maintaining good position. I think Kevwu is someone we haven't looked into as of yet. Interesting, early Arcanist. He is a player who is very, very low on the HP already. So I'm interested to see what he's got going on. And we'll see that in a second.
Oh, it looks like it is Constructor Companion. I was thinking maybe they would have rolled for Caitlyn to try and get that Caitlyn 3 into T-Hex, but they've pushed level 7. It looks like they actually haven't bought their 3-star 1 cost. Are they going to buy the Caitlyn? Yeah, they are. So this is definitely a TX commit now. You've got your Caitlyn, but it's looking very difficult because you need like a Vi 2, you need Orianna 2, Loris 2. And we've taken a Zhonya's Hourglass as well as our second augment. I am not feeling very confident about this spot whatsoever.
I suppose the good news for Kevwu, which, this is not the kind of way we'd expect to see Piltover being taken at all, is that at least Seraphine is there from early on, which is oftentimes going to be the sort of chase for the last Piltover unit you need to bring online. It is an 8-round loss streak, but up against the Diana, I think it's not going to win this round, but we can see how quick this has come together. I guess if nothing else, Nandonut, I admire Kevwu for trying this, but I don't think I would have been bold enough to even attempt something quite this wild.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe they saw the Constructor Companion and decided to pivot their game plan from there. Not sure what the game plan was before. But, okay, we are hitting some of our units, so I think is that enough for the T-Hex already? Yeah,
the 3-star Caitlyn is amazing for making that much, much quicker to hit.
Yeah, so we should be getting it after this round. The only downside is we don't have any, it is Wolves, we don't have any items currently slammed for it. You really want that Infinity Edge Hodge at least. But, we're going to have to commit to it after this round either way. And pray that it's enough.
Yeah, Kevwu does not have very much room to work with. Fortunately, at least, Pills, who has decided to maintain in the Damascus line, has found the Ginsu's Rage Blade, but not the triple item setup that will really let Vayne sing. So Kevwu will get their first win for quite some time. But we'll be keeping an eye out as the TEX will be coming in. item-wise, we're looking okay for the T-Hex, but actually more on the AP item side. Hopefully, this PvE round will help out.
Oh, we've taken the mining drill as well in the 6 build turbo, which is really nice for getting some of that money back. Because now you really want to be able to get to level 8, level 9 to hit your 2-star T-Hex. But yeah, items for sure, we're going to need at least an Infinity Edge. I think ideally we'd like a BF sword and another glove here, because Hodge is really important for that healing. So we'll see what we get. We have to slam whatever we hit. There's a BF sword, which is really nice.
I don't hate this item set at all. Like, just for the
and
alternate...
another glove.
Yeah, I mean, for the alternate way of playing it, that you've got the chance for the Hodge for healing, but you've also got a chance for the adaptive helm as well, just to maximize the ludicrous amount of mana regen you get from absorbing that Caitlyn as well.
Okay, we've actually gone for the QSS, which is interesting. I mean, it is another very strong item on the TX. I feel like I probably would have gone for the Hodge just for the healing, and we've now got 2 bows left over, and we already have our healing reduction on the Seraphine with the Morello, so we'll see what we do with that. Maybe hope for another item augment here. On the other side, we've got Enigma with the Ash Tryndamere. Also hit the Darkin weapon, which is really powerful on units like Tryndamere, like Yasuo as well. Only downside is we are running no healing on the Tryndamere, which can be a bit of an issue, but for now seems to be enough to get.
Well, we're kind of, as Kevu actually gets demolished in that round, let's go and take a quick look at the Enigma's board. So, because this same situation came up for me just a few games ago, which is the only reason why I'm aware of this one offhand, is that I think we're stealing our Omnivamp from a couple of different places. We've got the small amount from Slayer, but don't forget, of course, we've also got the small amount potentially from Celestial Blessing, or from Darkin as well, which has...
Yeah, that's true.
It's not like a ton of Omnivamp, but if you've got enough AD, then maybe you can get away with it.
And actually, it looks like I think we had the Omnivamp from the BT that we built early on, but once we hit the Darkin, we kind of swapped that over. So I guess that was the plan originally, but with the Darkin, like you said, combination of Slayer and Darkin, and now we have taken Celestial Blessing, so it should be more than enough. So this is actually looking like a very strong setup, just being able to go 3 damage items essentially, with the Omnivamp coming from other sources, like you say. Currently only sitting on 5 Tryndameres, 6 Nico, 3 Ashe. It's not great, it's not terrible. If we continue to streak though, I mean, that should give them money to be able to roll for our 3 stars.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about this one as well, because I didn't know necessarily how much you could get away with here, but I think this Tryndamere is so strong, and as you mentioned with the Darkin Scythe, meaning that he's, he kind of doubles down on his built-in infinitely stacking AD. He's just doing all the work pretty much solo, and I mean, yeah, with this much of a streak, you can afford to maybe hold off a little longer on getting your full items together. The Nandonut is just below with the Yordle board. You mentioned the Yordle 8, it is in place, and while the Nandonut is going to be taking some losses, I mean, we've got not a ton of gold in the bank, but maybe these grab bags will help make up the difference.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you get to that point of being able to get the 8 Yordle in, you kind of just push, maybe not all your gold, but like quite a lot of your gold to get it in, because the grab bags can just pay off again so quickly. And I feel like we're probably heading towards an Arcanist comp. Maybe not the potential for the Silas, as you said, but we can still just play around the Annie Tibbers and then add in like a Swain and various other 5 costs just to build out our comp. On the other side, it's looking like quite an interesting board from I'm not sure who that is. It says player
yeah, I've never seen
1.
that before.
I don't know. Not sure what's going on there.
Ishtar player. That's Get Slayed, right?
I don't think so.
Well, no, it's not.
It's like an Ionia Arcanist something board. I don't know what's going on there. Oh, I think this is what I think our player is using streamer mode, so we don't actually know who it is.
Oh, well, there we go. I've never seen that in a while before. All right, yes. I guess we can... Wait, we can probably figure out by process elimination who that is. I think that's Straffy?
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, we'll just call him Feather Knight for this one. So yes, do bear in mind for any of you folks who are playing this, it's completely fine, of course, to use the streamer mode. We won't spend much time on identifying who is who, on the assumption there might be a reason why someone wants to use streamer mode, especially. But Feather Knight, as we're calling them, yes, we haven't seen too much from them at all. We noticed before there is the gold farming area and a second Ishtar player in the lobby. So we'll check to see.
Yeah. I mean, it might just be being used for some small power, just by virtue of having played the Milio and unlocking the Skarner, I guess. I do think we might need to check in on Get Slayed, because as I was anticipating at the start, this Ishtar quest is, you're really setting yourself up for a, first or eighth situation. We only have 11 out of 17 and we are sitting on 2 lives, and I think this is the issue that we find, is can you survive basically playing a trait that does not give any combat value at all?
I guess, yeah, my optimistic interpretation is a lot of the time Ishtar kind of gives you negative combat value because it encourages you to lost tree. But yeah, you're right. It's I mean, Get Slayed again is a very accomplished player in Casual Competition, so it would be pretty shocking to see him go out in 8th place in the first game. We can see the strongest board is being attempted to put together, but Mighty, living up to his name, will get another hit in. Get Slayed will get the unlock on the Nasus, but I'm with you that it feels a pretty long distance away. Let's see, we've got 5 more combats, so basically an entire stage you need to survive further than this, and Get Slayed is out of gas, doesn't have nearly anything to put into, to upgrade any of these units or make the board significantly stronger.
Yeah, and our board itself is looking a little bit of a mishmash of things. We've got Nautilus 2 with, I guess, Warden in with the Ornn. We've got a Belveth with no traits in. I think the quest is one that you look at it and you think, oh, that's pretty simple, and then you realize how long 17 rounds is, and it's suddenly looking a lot more difficult. We will see whether we're going to be going out now against Nandonut, who is not even really playing their final board. It's just a Yordle board for the Econ. So you'd hope that you'd win this one, but I am not entirely convinced if that's going to happen, even against this board. Maybe it's possible. I don't know if we can get the Belveth down. Is Get Slayed going to live one more life? It looks like they will, just about.
Ooh. So Feather Knight is... Yeah, if we're talking about players on low HP, Get Slayed is 1, Feather Knight and Pills and Kevwu. In fact, most of the lobby is on around 2 lives or so. Igby and Batman, of course, with the Targon board. As we saw, this is the Warpath board from before, and we are not super far on the Warpath.
Yeah, I feel like Warpath is just a really difficult one to guarantee, because you never know where you're going to be going up against, unless you can see perhaps very clearly that people are going to be playing some kind of lost streak, multiple people are going to be playing it. I am not that confident to pick this one up, but I think is this do we have multiple Diana players? I think we might do, so it's possible that took a little while to get towards. As we can see in the chat, 17 rounds, as I've just realized, is extremely long. This is exactly what my friend said to me when they took it. They said, I think I underestimated how long 17 rounds is.
It doesn't sound that long, does it? It sounds like maybe like a 2-3 stages, but we're at 5-1, so we're going to be at, I guess, pretty much at stage 6 before this goes through. I think the good news with Get Slayed is at least that we've got some finalized itemization. As you noted before, the items are not really favoring the more AP-centric board that he's got right now. But up against Feather Knight, I think they might be able to beat out the other Ishtar player who is also playing at one of the weaker boards. You can see that our friendly Zillion is doing a lot of work. It's going to be right down to the wire. And no, Get Slayed is down and out. Our former champion is 8th in his first game. Pills, I was just watching to see if maybe he would follow, but he just survives. That was a big risk, and it did not pay off.
Yeah, we committed basically on 2-1 and said either we're getting this and we're getting our Brock, or we are probably going dead last. And unfortunately for Get Slayed, it is the latter in this first game. Pills here playing a Demacia. It looks like we're not actually re-rolling the Vein really, but we found a Galio too, however. Our items are a little bit split. We have like one tank item on the Garen, we have one item on the Vein, one item on the Galio. We'll see if the Galio 2 is enough to be able to defeat this Batman board. However, that Lux is going to be going down very quickly.
Oh boy. I mean, Demacia at least gives you some defensive stats to make that a little bit harder to pull off, but you're right. I mean, this is just a nightmare situation. I think Pills is all kinds of done. He did ultimately end up making the Demacia emblem, but Diana is made for demolishing front-to-back boards like this one, and without your DPS, the boards just fall to pieces very quickly, and we're down to 6.
Yeah, 2 of our players already out, and the HP totals are looking very come together, except for Enigma, who looks like they're having a great time up there in first with that Ash Tryndamere. And yeah, we hit our Tryndamere, and we 2 off our Ash, 3 off Sejuani, Nico if we decide to go for those. I feel like it's just it's quite a simple comp, and the synergies fit together like really nicely. Because if you replace the Darius with a Swain, you basically have like, I can't remember how many bronze traits it is. I feel like it's maybe 7 or 8 bronze traits, because you have Freljord, Noxus, Quickstriker, Slayer, Arcanist, Juggernaut. It's like such a nice tree that slots together so well.
Yeah, I didn't even think about this before, but of course, I suppose under those circumstances, it will make a pretty good bronze for life contender. But Enigma is just tearing through. So we've still not got Ash 3 after all said and done. We're at level 7. We have got a 3-star Tryndamere who's been doing absolute work. He's up to 43% Omnivamp with the... so this is Darkin, and this is just off Darkin and Slayer, so that's 10% and 15%. Where's he getting that other percentage from? I feel like I'm confusing myself. Either way, it's working extremely well. The main challenger seems to be Kevwu, which is the T-Hex player from before, who made a heroic pivot thanks to Constructor Companion very late into the competition, I guess realizing that nobody else was going for it, and is the only player right now on lower HP on a win streak.
Wow, they actually managed to turn it around. Didn't end up picking an item. I guess they'll get something given to them. Even Shroud is a pretty good one here, although I suppose we do have the Lost Whisper already. Currently been streaking 7 win streak, even just on TX1, which I think is pretty crazy. I think it's showing us a little bit of why this comp is so strong. We've also got 6 Braums. We've got another Braum 2 on our bench.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like I'd probably just sell it and try and hit TX2, because I think you really need that. I don't know if you're going to have the money to be able to hit Braum 3, but there's always the hope, I guess.
Yeah, it seems like Kevwu is maybe not fully confident in his ability to beat everybody, but we'll see if he can take on the big dog in the lobby. Enigma has been ruling the roost for a long time, but say built for damage. You've got the Death Blade added on, of course, the farming from the mining drill of that T-Hex means that economically you're off the charts, but Tryndamere goes face to face and knocks him down. So Kevwu's streak, a 7-round streak, comes to a close thanks to a lack of a T-Hex 2.
Yeah, this Tryndamere build is so strong. It's not even the Rageblade build either. It's IE, QSS, and the Darkin Scythe, which is just full damage. And all the Omnivamp coming in from the Celestial Blessing is really nice. We hit our 3-star Ash as well. And we're actually 2 off Nico 3, Draven 3, and Sedge 3. So the board is really just coming together.
And there's no way to stop it as well, because Enigma's on 74 HP, more than the rest of the remaining players combined. Ikvi Batman is second place in the moment. The Warpath player, I think, did manage to get the cash out eventually on the Warpath, so is about as strong as he's going to be, but he's spent everything to try and keep himself alive up against Enigma. We'll see if he will be the one to challenge for the crown of the lobby.
Yeah, the Diana did get onto the Ash, but not able to get through it, and there's just too much damage on the other side. This board from Enigma is so strong, and I think we can almost guarantee that this is going to be a first place coming in from them. Unless some shenanigans come out with Kevwu and it's 3-star Braum, maybe.
Oh boy,
Wow,
so
did 3 people just go out in that round?
yeah. If Batman dropped as well, Mighty dropped in a previous round, didn't get around to talking about. That was the Ionia Diana player, so we're left with just the Piltover player and the Tryndamere player. So ultimately, it's not necessarily what we'd be expecting to fully see at the very top. I mean, we talked a little bit about how powerful this Tryndamere Ashball can be if it gets snowballing, and it really felt like it got snowballing this lobby extremely hard.
Yeah, this Darkin setup as well is just looking so powerful. And we still have another three stars that can potentially be hit on level 7. We're going to roll for them now. Adding the Swain is just really nice over the Darius, I think. And we'll see what the other choices end up being. I think for Kevu, it's really a case of can we hit our T-Hex 2 or not? And then will that be enough to beat this board?
We go
going for the...
That's a
Oh
TX
my God.
arrives, but you're one short of the Braum 3. I think you got. So he manages to keep both dreams alive. A 3 Braum sandwich. Nandonut, is that gonna be enough?
I am not sure it will be, especially when you've had to sacrifice 2 other units. I'm not entirely sure what we dropped, but we definitely dropped a couple of units to keep the Braums alive. Tryndamere in front of the T-Hex, however, the damage wasn't enough to get through the Tryndamere, and then Trynd is just slapping away. I think that might be the end of the game right here.
Oh, it's gotta be. Enigma with a hell of a game. We'll give a lot of credit to Kevwu, though. I think it's a sign of a very, very good player to be able to see the opportunity to make a pivot and make it work as well as he ultimately did. Very nicely played. Oh. So that will bring our first lobby to an end. Again, congratulations, Enigma, for a spectacularly played entry to today's series. Of course, as I said before, there will be 3 rounds across the entirety of today, so getting in those strong early finishes is very important. Oh, thank you, Flobean, for letting me know the other game's ongoing. Let me see if I can grab someone from it then. Let's see, Unholy Girl is still playing. I think, let's see if I've got her on friends. No. I must have somebody. The goat. Okay, well, hopefully we're gonna load in and see. Thank you, Flowbeam, for letting us know. We'll load in and see if we can get into there in time. Flowbeam, I don't know if you can update us as to roughly what's been going on in the previous lobby. Apparently it's in the top 4, but I guess we'll see if it's anything like the lobby we've seen so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if am I surprised or not how strong the Tryndamere board is. I know that it can be really strong. I think that Darkin setup just pushed it into another tier as well. And yeah, I mean, just a first by far there. I think, respect to who was it that was playing our T-Hex? I've already forgotten.
Oh, Kevwu.
Kevwu, yeah, that was it. I mean, respect for still sticking to his guns and going for the Braum 3. I feel like I would have sold that much earlier and tried to push for the TX2, but they stuck to that win-out condition, and was just a one-off, which is very unfortunate, but they gave it a go.
I think it's one of those things, isn't it, where you sit in there and be like, there's no way I'm winning this lobby without something absurd, so I might as well play the incredibly unlikely angle. Philipine, thank you for the update. So the Draven Fast 9 players win streak in the game. We've got Unholy Girl and Lucario still playing. So I'm assuming they're first and second. And it's down to the last fight. So we'll see if we will either get into the game. Okay, apparently the game's over already. We'll see. It might load us into the game. Okay, yes, it will show us the end of the game, so we'll run that back. And we'll, for anyone who's listening, don't read the Twitch chat, because there is spoilers for this lobby in here. But we'll watch Unholy Girl strive to make her strongest attempt to take down Lucario Senpai, who, excuse me for all the overlays, who's running.
My God.
Of course, it's the Darius Fast Kindred board, which is incredibly obnoxious.
That board is so strong. Kindred 2, Senna 2, Ambessa 2, Silas 2, Skarner 2, Swain 2, Fiddle 2, Shavana 2. We're 1 off Ambessa 3 and we're 3 off Skarner 3. I'm not sure what's gone on here, but they're sitting on 80 HP, so I'm guessing they dominated the mid game.
Yeah, I mean, we've got, look at the augments. We've got, going long for the XP boost, commerce core, an item grab bag, 0 combat augments whatsoever, relying purely on ludicrous ball strength. And we see Unholy Girl has to settle for second place. Kindred is just so incredibly obnoxious to play against towards the tail end of each of these rounds. Oh boy, let's get out of there. I don't want to see any more of Lucario Senpai. But that is ultimately another lobby where we've had one player come through, in Lucario's case, come through and absolutely dominate the lobby. Not just win, but win with a lot of HP left over.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is that the going long is a really interesting one, and I find it quite fun to play because it changes the way you play the game quite a bit. Kind of similar, not similar in how you play it, but similar in kind of theory as something like Built Different used to be, where it kind of just changes the way you play the game. And it can be really good for win streaking early because you have no need to hold on to gold for interest. So you basically hold all the units you can and then use your money to push levels and win streak off that. If I had to guess, I'm thinking the roll into Commerce Core at the end was potentially what allowed him to actually cap it out. Because the thing with going along is that it's very strong early game, but without being able to earn interest, you often start to run out of money once you get to level 8+. And getting whatever it is, 4 free shop rerolls a turn potentially gave that econ to be able to continue to push the strength into level 8, level 9.
All right, we're going to go to a short break. When we come back, we'll have round 2 for you. So stick with us, and we'll be back in 7 minutes or less. Howdy, howdy everybody, welcome back to Counters Casual Competition. We are just about to get into round 2. In fact, round 2 I think might be already underway. We want to take a second to recognize, of course, we saw them for ourselves, but we still want to make sure we give them their flowers. Enigma and Lucario for winning out their first 2 lobbies in dominating fashion. I mean, Nandonut, it's our purview, of course, of casters to take a small amount of information, maybe even one piece of information, but we got 2 pieces of information, which is a feast for us as analysts, and draw some wild conclusions based off of a very small data set. What kind of wild things should we be thinking now that we've seen 2 different players win out their lobbies in hugely dominating fashion?
I mean, I guess a wild take you could go for is that every game is going to be dominated by a single person, but I'm not entirely sure that's true. I'm also hoping that's not going to be true, because I feel like in some of our Counters Casual competitions, the coming down to the finish line with some very close games is what we really like to see. So I'm hoping that one's not going to be the case. I think it might have just been the setups that our players found. The Ash Tryndamere with a really strong setup, and the going long into Commerce Core just for that really strong early game and that really strong late game led to those couple of dominant games.
Yeah, I mean, looking over, I'm just gonna see if I can bring this onto stream, if I can not break anything too strongly. I'm not completely convinced that I can't, but let me see if I can just bring it up as a separate, or as a winner for anyone who maybe came into this one late. Let's see if I can grab our results. I mean, for the comps that were challenging, I mean, Unholy Girl we saw briefly in the previous lobby. Of course, we talked about before, Broseph really recommending Void as a very reliable top 4 comp. In that lobby, Unholy Girl and F1, they both brought Void to a top 2, top 3 finish, which is not too shabby at all. Let's see if I can bring that up on screen. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. So if we're looking for more generally applicable information, it seems like people are still managing to pull off the Baron Nashor 2 boards, even under perhaps less than ideal circumstances.
Wow, that's pretty crazy that we had 2 people manage to go level 10 and hit Baron 2, and they went 2-3. I feel like that's quite rare. I feel like Void is something that if I have a really strong opener for it, I will go for it. But if I see somebody else has a really strong line, I will not necessarily contest that, because you really need to hit those 4 and 5 cost units. But we are jumping into our second game now. Looks like it is a gold opener. I'm not sure what. Can we see what our encounter is, per chance?
Yes, okay, it's Howling Abyss.
Nothing too crazy. Bit of extra econ, a bit of a few more units to flex that opening board. But yeah, we're just getting started here. First round of the game.
I suppose we've got a little bit more of a chance of seeing some of the early focus comps getting played. And if he gets laid with a couple of Caitlyn's, you imagine Yordles will be pretty decent here as well. Maybe we see someone bold enough to go for something like the Shadow Isles, but it looks like we've got a decent Ionia this game. Yes, Prosperous Ionia, because of course one of those 1 costs you can pick up will be the Ionians to get that one active immediately.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was wondering if we were looking at some kind of Yasuo reroll game, because I thought we had a Yasuo 2 and the duplicators, but it looks like we used both of the duplicators on the Yasuo just for some early tempo, I guess.
Yeah, I do kind of like it though, because we're, especially when you're trying to get ahead of the play, I think going up against players like Feather Knight who've got the 1 unit is not ideal, but ideally, we cash in these 2 lesser duplicators and we just farm everybody else for gold, thereby kind of moving our economic value along and hopefully keeping us ahead of the curve, even without a direct augment to call upon.
Yeah, I feel like for Feather Knight as well, if you've taken solo leveling, I mean, you've got Shen too, but I think you really want to slam some kind of item on him. And it looks like it was a 3-component start, so I definitely like to see some kind of item slammed, because you want to make use of those mega stats, that mega champion to try and... I mean, honestly, I would just slam an IE, or even a steadfast heart. I mean, you just need some kind of item to be able to farm those farm that XP from the solo leveling.
It seems strange because player one, or aka Feather Knight, has got the Ionia start. We've got the Ionian units, yet they still decide to take solo leveling, which blocks them out of playing Ionia for the entirety of stage 2. So if they're not getting the wins, they're not getting the bonus XP from the kills. I have to wonder what they are getting. On the other side, Beamy has decided to follow our advice from before and go for the Bard meta in place at the moment. Is also playing Ionia, of course, to be clear, but you just find a place for Bard at all times.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm surprised. I feel like with that Draven on the board and taking the duplicators, I honestly would have just double duped the Draven and tried to play for that line instead. The components are looking pretty good. Draven is another one who can farm gold in its own way, and just having a 2-star 3-cost early in the game can be really powerful. But perhaps they have a different idea. Maybe they do want to go towards that Yunara Ionia, but with it being the gold one, we will see how many people are angling towards that.
Oh yes, Deadly Ghost, thank you. Yes, we know Feather Knight is Strafu in this one, but just in case there's a reason why they're keeping their name off of being streamed, we're going to not refer back to them in such a way, just in case, just from an abundance of caution. So in the lobby overall though, we've got Mighty who's Ionia, and Pills who's managed to find an early path into Freljord. He's got himself an early streak, and the items, they're not quite as perfect as before, but too much value is extremely good for getting us online very quickly.
Yeah, although we are running only our two costs at the moment, I feel like I would consider trying to run at least 4 just to farm those rerolls. Possibly they're thinking, given they're on a 3 streak, maybe it's more worthwhile holding on to a stronger board for the moment, and then maybe if you drop around, then you spec in some more 2 costs. But I think that value really comes online when you're running 4 or sometimes even 6 2 costs and you're just farming 2 or 3 rerolls around.
Well, speaking of farming, Deadly Ghost on the other side with a early Void board and late game scaling, as I believe this is. There's a couple of orbits look very similar. Yes. So we've certainly seen the meta previously be very focused, as you mentioned right back at the beginning of the show, towards the Fast 9. In this case, if Deadly Ghost can survive that long against the rerolls and others that are currently occupying our screens, then he will be there much quicker than he would be otherwise, and with a little boost of power as well, as he will beat out Pills. That's a nice early preservation of HP.
Yeah, and as I said before, I feel like Void is one now where you really want to have the right spot for it. I think before it was maybe forcible from like suboptimal spots, but now with the slight nerfs to Rift Herald, I think if you've got a strong opener, you've got Rage Blade especially, and some kind of econ. In this case, we've got the XP gain from late game scaling. It's looking like a pretty good spot, honestly. I think, yeah, you're kind of just looking to, you want to hit your Cogmore 2, and then you just try and play whatever strongest board you can in the mid game, collect as much econ as you can, and try and go towards that level 9 or 10 even, yeah.
Oh, Deadly Ghost will be up against Mighty, the only win-streaking player left in the lobby. I think the Void board might actually be able to get the win. But Yasuo is double itemized, so he will be hard to put down, but with the rest of the board evaporating, DG will take command of the lobby. Yasuo, oh, I speak too soon. One more cast, and it's not good enough. Mighty maintains the full stage 2 win streak at the expense of Deadly Ghost.
Yeah, DG would really been hoping he hit that Cogmore 2 somewhere along the way, and I think that would have been the difference there. Very close one. But to be honest, as we say, with the Void board, you're really just looking to econ up, and so you're kind of hoping to, be able to push it a bit further. Pills lets us know that they hit 2 Tryndamirs off the. Oh wait, we haven't even seen this yet. Nothing happened, and nothing will happen. I wonder what's going to drop from these neutrals.
I do think it's a little unreasonable when you get units that are great for your board here. I'd almost like the mechanic to be that it can't drop you any units which are on your current board, just to prevent what is going to happen in a second, which is an instant 2-star, which is going to dramatically push Pills' power, especially pre-level 6.
Yeah, that is a crazy one. I mean, you just saved yourself however many rolls just for just getting 2 free Tryndamirs. So that one feels pretty good. Sometimes you just high roll, and that's the way life goes, I guess.
I suppose the only bad news for Pills is the items are still not amazing, in terms of attack speed at least. We've got a lot of AD, and maybe we can make that work, but we certainly know that with the way that Tryndamir's spell works, which is unfortunately 2-star on the bench, 1-star on the field, that, you know, it's just enhanced, 5 seconds of enhancement, which means that if you can buff up his attack speed, you're in a very good spot indeed. I suppose the only good news is, as you mentioned before, Nandonut, the too much value is being fully used. We've got the 4 2-cost units in place, so at least we're moving more quickly towards what will eventually become a 3-star Tryndamir and Ashe.
Yeah, and I think this is a comp that is really good for this augment. Not just being a reroll comp, but being a 2-cost reroll, and you're also playing. You usually play at least the Nico on your board, so you can easily spec in 4 2-costs. Pill's letting us know the items do indeed suck. I think they're really hoping for something like Pandora's here.
Do it. Aww.
I mean, it's gold, unfortunately, so don't think they're going to be able to hit Pandora's items. I feel like I also definitely would have stuck in the 2-star Tryndamir and moved the items across. I think this set as well, you just get so many removers that there's actually not much downside to it at all. And they do go for it in the end.
I was curious about that. That the Tryndamir it's not a global variable, I guess, if you want to put it that way, between the two. So this Tryndamir has got 27%. This one has 10%. So they are not sharing the kill bonus. So there is a consequence to swapping them over. That's really unfortunate for Pills because he won't be getting that bonus in. I'm trying to remember actually what happens when you combine stacking units together. I think they changed it maybe some years ago that you only get the highest stack rather than it adding them together.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty certain there's no way they added them together. That is a very good point, though. I hadn't thought about that. So I guess you are kind of starting your stacking again because until you hit that 3-star now, I mean, you're not going to be putting that other one back on your board. So yeah, good point. Well observed. I guess you're sacrificing some stacks for the power of having the 2-star Tryndamir. I guess a rare situation where you're combining a 2-star on your bench with a 1-star on your board. So perhaps a bit of a double-edged sword there for Pills. They got their Tryndamirs, but at what cost?
Yeah, and of course this is going to reduce the power of the Ashe as well because she's keyed off of how much AD Tryndamir has got for her bonus arrows. So for the time being, Pills is still making it work. Then we've got in the Briar to activate Slayer as well. So Pills doing well so far. Sevens, I don't think we've taken a chance with so far. As we know that Deadly was playing Void before, but Sevens is doing it as well, and it is also locked in. I believe this is the XP gain, the Evolve and Overcome, which means that Sevens needs to be. It's like a patient study that you have to be dominant on. On the other side, though, we've seen an early Belvet. Bad news for anyone else, as I believe that's Deadly Ghost, who's already managed to move up the Void tree.
Yep, Sevens perhaps feeling a little bit upset that they've been both contested on the Void and that the board on the other side with the items is looking a little bit better. They are going to unlock the Rift Herald here, and I mean, like you say, with that augment, you are basically committed to Void. DG did give us a little bit of information in the chat saying, also will I pivot into Legendary Soup? No one knows. I don't know if that means that
I think we know
either. But...
I mean, I suppose theoretically, it's not a massive bonus to the 5 cost units. You could make a board work with, just the 4 costs instead, but it's going to be pretty tempting. I mean, Deadly Ghost is certainly in a spot where he's not hemorrhaging HP, unlike Get Slayed and Black Villain, who absolutely are. Get Slayed is on Piltover, Black Villain on Yordle, and we are one Caitlyn away from Caitlyn 3 for Get Slayed. So we saw in the previous game, Get Slayed did play very risky with that Ishtel quest. This time round, he sacrificed his HP to try and get an Omega board going.
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're continuing to roll for there. I feel like at this point you probably just want to push to 6 or 7 and then try and hit your Loris 2, Vi 2, Oriana 2 and get that T Hex in, which I'm guessing will be the plan now. We've got pretty good items already, the IE QSS. Um, and I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, on the other side. I feel like this is what our Feather Knight player played last game, was some kind of Ari
Hmm.
Ionia Ari reroll with like Ishtal as well, because they have the Milio and the Nico at the moment. I don't know if this is some patented tech that they have, some comp that they're cooking up. It's not something I can say I've seen much, Ari reroll, but I'm curious to see if they can, if it's something that they're going to be able to make work.
Yeah, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's, I mean, I think we're talking about a little bit of what you brought up in the previous game, that boards are becoming, you know, even with Iona being as powerful it is, more of a kind of just a grab bag. And with Skarna, of course, very, very powerful as of this patch, newly buffed, that we've got ourselves a decent enough board. I suppose, at least from the gold drop perspective, Iona is just as powerful for economic purposes at 3 as it is at 7. So maybe that's the idea of just being like, you know, we'll farm up and presumably move into a stronger board late game. Can fit in a very sneaky, yeah, Ishtal adds to the board and try and build up maximal value up against the Yodel board on the other side. I believe this is Black Villain, the other player on a low HP, who I think might be about to take another L.
Yeah, I can't get over this board is actually really interesting. DG saying in the chat, Ari rerolls only possible with Dawn Core and the stacking stats on cast Ionia. But I feel like Feather Knight played this last game, and I don't think it was that they had that set up either. And just the way this board is crafted, like they're level 7 with 7 traits. Like it's a trait web that seems to fit together very nicely. You got the 3 Ionia, 2 Defender, 2 Arcanist, 3 Ishtal, 2 Bruiser, 2 Invoker. It's like a perfectly fitting together comp. And playing Ishtal together with Ionia is not something that I can say I've seen before.
Alright, Nandonut, let me pitch you something here. Not something that I think is going to be true, but I'm saying to say something that could be possible.
Go on.
As I'm looking at the bench, I'm like, it's not going to happen, is it? But Aurelian Sol. This could be a really roundabout way. I'm seeing that we've got a lot of Tarics on the board here. I'm like, this could be a pretty good Aurelian Sol setup. I mean, I guess really the point I'm making is that this board is not married to anything. Yeah, we've got...
Okay. I was buying in for a minute until they sold the Zoe that was on their bench.
Oh, darn it. Yeah, admittedly, if I'd seen Aphelios on the bench, I would have had a much stronger case for that being true. But I suppose either way, yeah, this could very much be a stopping point. She said, great trait web. It doesn't seem like maybe we are going to be re-rolling, but you know, if this brings us up to level 9 healthy and in a very good spot, as Feather Knight seems to be here, farming up the gold to get to level 9 in the first place, we'll be going up against Deadly Ghost and the late game spelling board. It's good enough to take down this board very comfortably. That Scala is doing work.
Yeah, I am also not entirely convinced we are not re-rolling, because this seems to be almost exactly the same board that we played last game. If we see something like Trifecta, that could be indicating. I know you're hovering over the golden egg. The golden egg is always the... Oh, we took it as well.
Yes! Chat, I'll need you to be with me on this one. If the egg gets hatched, we must spam egg in the chat until the gods of the eggs are satisfied. And oh my egg! Nandona, I think immediately you're going to be proven right here as the Ari rerolls come in. Feather Knight needs to get those wins in right now, so needs a strong board, or strong as board as possible. It's a bold play, but maybe it's exactly what they need.
Yeah, there is something going on here. I can almost see I can see the whisk, I can see the chopping board, because they're definitely cooking something up here, and I'm curious what it is and how it works, and why I have never even heard of it before.
Well, on the other side, we do, of course, see this was the Mighty's board, I believe, with the Yasuo that was early duplicated, is actually being brought up to 3-star, but that doesn't matter. Gets absolutely run through. Feather Knight, even without the RE3, this board is crazy. Wait, there are 3 eggs? We need to attend to business. So we've got 1 egg for Feather Knight. Where are our extra eggs? Not Beamy, not Sevens. Deadly Ghost has gone for an egg. That's not a good place to go from. Wait, surely. Wait, there's 2 eggs, right? Not 3? Or am I missing 1?
Unless the Call to Chaos was an egg as well, was it? No.
Can that be? Can that be an egg? I'm only seeing 2.
Yeah, it can. There's now a Call to Chaos that gives an egg and some other stuff.
Oh, is it? Oh, it's right. It's wait. So yeah. So Deadly Ghost has got legitimate egg. Feather Knight has got legitimate egg, and I think you could be right.
No, it's the Golem.
Okay, I don't know. Maybe there's a miscount, but 2 eggs is still a lot of eggs.
2 eggs is more eggs than 1, indeed.
Well, we'll see. If Feather Knight can keep up his win streak, then he's looking very good, but I think it's not going to work. Sevens is just a little bit too strong. The Kai's are already online. Again, remember that Sevens, the player, heavily motivated to play hyper-aggressive, and of course, not sacrificing 1 augment means that let's just... Oh, no. Sorry, the augment thing immediately disappeared as soon as I want to look at it. We'll find out in a second what Sevens has got online, but while Sevens is doing well, Beamy is doing well, and Feather Knight as well. Down at the bottom, Black Villain and Get Slayed, they're both down to sub 20 HP. That's the Piltover player and Get Slayed, and Black Villain, the Yordle player. So, 2 players with some great late game potential may not get to live long enough to realize it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see what Black Villain was doing. I assume they were just playing Yordle into some kind of fast 9 board. But they are on 18 HP and they're sitting at level 8. If that's what they're doing, they need to go 9 and roll down now. I guess we'll have to have a look. Okay, no, they're actually re-rolling the Yordles, which is interesting. Even though they took late game scaling as... I mean, I think that's late game scaling. Isn't it? Or sorry, late game specialist.
Late game specialist, which is very similar. Okay, so we go up to level 9. We get the late game specialist. We've already had the same count.
I guess they're playing towards Vega. Yeah. We'll have to see whether they can hit it. The issue now is that you're not really rolling for anything apart from Vega.
Yeah, ooh, this is
I'm
rough.
not too confident about this spot.
We've got Giant and Mighty, but yeah, once we're relying on Vega as our primary DPS, I wouldn't hate it to have seen both Rabadons on him, even if he's only 1 star, just because you can see Fizz is great at deleting individual targets, but he misses the Kaiser, which means that you're relying almost entirely on the Vega, who actually does seem to just about be good enough. So that keeps Black Villain alive. Get Slayed is still fighting as well, and I think he will also survive. It's these 2 eggs in the lobby that I think that are keeping our low HP players alive, because everyone's board is so much weaker than it should be.
Yeah, and I have to admit, like you said, I'm not sure about this egg spot for Deadly Ghost. When you're playing Void, you really just want to get to that level 9, and we're currently that level 10 even, and we're currently sitting at level 8, 19 gold. I'm not sure this is a spot where you're going to be cashing out that egg.
No, I mean, even when I take it from high HP, I nearly always regret it, but I salute anyone who gives it a try. Deadly Ghost has not been winning rounds for a while, so this egg has barely been moving. Up against Mighty with a 3-star Yasuo and the Yone in play as well. This is not a board for messing around against. I have to think DG is going to get completely run through here. He is on 31 HP, so he's not going to immediately die, but I don't think too many rounds are going to look massively dissimilar to this one. Kaiser does survive to the end. It could have been worse, but DG will get to the PvE with 21 HP. Get Slayed will just get across the line. No, barely loses out by a single auto attack. He's down to 11.
Yeah, I will say, for going back to Mighty, I think it was Mighty's board who was playing the Yasuo. I will say they took the... I think it's a Sweet Treats with the Artifact Anvil. And you've got Silver Mid Dawn on the Yasuo, which gives a lot of AD, but it significantly restricts the attack speed. So if we have a look at this creep brand, you'll see, like, look how slowly the Yasuo is attacking. and being able to cast. It takes a very long time to get a cast off. So I can't figure out if this is worth it or not, because obviously it means the ability does a lot more damage, but you're casting extremely slowly. So I'm not completely sold on this, but maybe they know something I don't.
I'm with you there. I think the idea must be that the Yone is going to be casting and bringing Yasuo along with him.
Yeah,
and therefore sort of bypassing that, because Yasuo right now doesn't have any attack speed of any kind. So Yone at least should be attacking relatively quickly, but it's a lot to put on your 1-star non-Edge of Knighted unit. And Mighty's taking gambles. Feather Knight will hit the 3-star Ahri. The Ahri reroll dream is good. The egg is, I suspect, relatively close to hatching. We'll see. It's egg versus egg. Nandonut here. Who will crack first?
It is the egg on egg action, and I think I'm going to favor the one that has a 3-star as opposed to the one that needs to go to level 10. But that being said, this Kaiser 1, hold on a second, maybe I've underestimated. Actually, I say the Kaiser 1, I think it might be the Belveth 3 that is doing the work here. I underestimated the Void Egg.
Wow. Yeah, let's take some time to look at what DG is up to, because I was also surprised to see that go as well as it did. So we're working without one augment. So we've got Kaiser 1, Belveth 2, and I'm assuming Belveth's probably... Let's look at the damage dealt.
Look at the damage. Yeah, it's a little bit mixed actually. Kaiser 1 doing a surprising amount of damage there.
Let's see, so in terms of blocked damage, I mean, Rift Herald is doing a lot of work. Yeah, I'm really surprised, especially with the Kaiser 1 that DG managed to stay alive. His egg is still a way off of hatching, and he's on 21 HP. Gets laid, does find the upgrade. We're up against the Yordle board of Blackman, and we'll see it from his side. We've not got full itemization, but we do have a Veigar too. I can't remember if Veigar's bug where he misses a lot of moving targets is kicked in, but we've got the Ziggs in play as well. DG will take a hammer to the face. Black Villain gets the win. Deadly Ghost goes down to minimum, gets slayed, gets eliminated. The T-Hex player out of the lobby, and now 3 or even 4 players left below 20 HP, and Black Villain, the Yordle player, the only one who's got a streak.
Wow, they're actually making this Yordle reroll Veigar board work quite well. I wasn't that convinced when I saw it, honestly. I feel like when you play Veigar, quite often you kind of just want to push to level 8 as quickly as possible and then kind of flex in other units. But they've gone for this sort of hybrid, which seems to work quite well. And they're also currently sitting on 6 Fizz and 5 Veigar. So perhaps hoping that these grab bags are going to drop them some of the units that they're looking for.
Oh, tell me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like the 1 sword on Fizz and 1 tier on Veigar is not ideal, maybe not fully optimal as a strategy overall. And the fact that we're still seeing this board winning, despite the fact there's actually like not using one of our items for whatever reason against pills, is a testament. As Deadly Ghost will go out, he will bring the egg with him into the warm embrace of death as Mighty drops as well. That's our Yasuo reroll player out of commission. Black Villain continues to stomp their way through the lobby as Sevens are... This is our Adapt and Overcome Void player will take the Void lead.
Yeah, DG in the chat saying, no econ augment. Egg was actually the best augment for me to get on 4-2. We can agree to disagree. I feel like pretty much anything else would have been better. Anything that gives you some kind of power.
Anything that did literally anything.
But I mean, hey, a golden egg on the bench looks pretty nice, so I probably gave some morale boost.
I mean, it would award you with a special title if you can get the cash out of the egg, so I can see that being a little tempting for our players to worship the great Ovo in the sky. Black Villain, though, continues to push forwards, is still not using one of their items. That's killing me. It's killing me, Nandonut, but the fact they're still winning, they're on a 6-round win streak. Maybe they were holding off on just finding that last one. Alright, we'll see how they do up against the... This is the Egg Ward of Black Villain. I believe Black Villain has actually... No, sorry. The Black Villain is the Yordle player.
Feather Knight's Ghost, I think.
Yeah, I think they actually have cashed out their egg, so this might actually be the one board that the Yordles will struggle against.
Was it Feather Knight's board, or did Feather Knight take the egg? I can't remember who took the other egg.
Oh, I'm getting a bit confused as well. Let's do our egg check. So it wasn't Pills. It was Feather Knight.
Okay, it was Feather Knight. I wasn't sure if the cash out was coming from the Ishtar, but that one's still going, it looks like.
Yes, I mean, this is not going to be a big cash out. I think they might be going for it right now. Pills hits the... We haven't visited Pills for a while because he has been doing very well for himself. The Call to Chaos, what did that get us? Lucky item chest, so that actually completely fixed Pills' problem. He did well early on, but didn't have good items. That Call to Chaos couldn't have been better.
Yeah, and are we going to see another Ash Tryndamere board win out? We'll be going up against Feather Knight's board. These two are possibly looking the strongest at the moment. Tryndamere currently stuck on this Tarek 2 with Radiant TG and just cannot get through him.
I think this is the big problem where, if you've got a lot of weaker units that Tryndamere can just bully one-on-one, then he's amazing. But in this kind of circumstance where you've got a tank that's just too much for him to punch through, I think it feels like to me, Nandonut, positioning is hugely important for Pills to get the Tryndamere through the front line and hitting some of these weaker targets, rather than just trying to more honestly go face-to-face and punch through the tanks regularly.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, the positioning is pretty key. Often you want the Tryndamere on that weak side, both to be able to break through it, but also to give time to ramp up on that Rage Blade. But swapping at the last minute is a little bit of a difficult one with that comp, because you have to swap the Freljord Tower, and then you have to swap all the units to get the buff. So that can be a bit difficult one to pivot.
I suppose as well, the other choice is, right now, Tryndamere is in the more HP position of being next to the totem. Pills could conceivably switch to behind the totem and go for more damage, now that he's 3-star.
Yeah,
and he's also got the Edge of Night.
Yeah, I just noticed that as you were saying it as well. I think that's definitely something you usually have the Tryndamere back one to get the damage amp. Maybe something that they're just not aware of. And you can see the difficulty there of trying to swap sides at the last minute, getting all of your units into the Freljord side. And they've actually blocked off their Tryndamere as well. So I think the positioning is definitely lacking a little bit of something at the moment. We'll see whether it's enough to get through this Yordle board. The Tryndamere is just stuck on this cannon, I think it is. Finally managing to get through. Will it be enough? It looks like it might be, but I think it could be close.
Well, I think the big problem Black Villain's got, as he will be knocked out here with a top 4 finish, is that the Yordle board, if we haven't got an itemized Tristana, just doesn't have anything to deal with a big single target threat like the Tryndamere. You were just trying to delete everyone eventually with the Vagar, but it just wasn't enough damage. It leaves us with 3. So Pills for the Tryndamere board, Feather Knight with the Ionia Ultimate Egg board, and Beamy with Ionia, the more standard variety, which is a very good looking level 10 board as well.
Yeah, it's this Ionia kind of a Yunara flex. In this situation, you play the 5. You have the 2 bruisers. You have your set 2, and then you have the Jin giving Gunslinger to the Senna. You've got a Senna 2. Board is looking pretty strong. We'll see whether it is enough to break through this Tryndamere board or not. Which is looking very strong with not just the Ash 3, Tryndamere 3, but it looks like it's not enough at the moment. We do have Sejuani 3 and Draven 3 as well. But the Ionia flex is enough. We'll see whether this cooked kind of Ishtar Ari Milio reroll. I'm still fascinated by this comp. It's something I might have to go and try out once the tournament's over.
And we've even got a Rise in the mix as well, just to maximize our bronze tier power up to level 10. I'm interested to see whether we're actually going to be... Yeah, I was expecting not to be playing the Annie in favor of something like the Fiddlesticks, but this does... I think the entire set feels like it's a whole bunch of shells. Is your shell good enough to make this work? We'll play a second copy of Rise. Let's see, so we've got... Let's check what effects we've got for the Rise, because I think with two of them, we've got the AoE, more AoE, get a random Ishtal, heal, and debuff. I mean, it seems to be pretty good. Beamy on the other side, though, has got such a strong quick striker board. I don't know, the tank lineup doesn't seem to be too even between the two. Feather Knight is staying up for a very, very long time, and Yunara stays alive. The Hextech Gunblade, that's not Yunara, the Milio. I was expecting Yunara, and that will be an elimination on Beamy. Pills will survive, but I can't think we'll go any further than the second place.
That Radiant TG on the Tarek did so much work there. He is just tanking up like crazy. Because we've got a lost Carousel here. Got a slightly odd set of components here. I'm not sure anybody wants a spatula this late in the game. And we'll see whether Pills has enough to pull it off. I really think you're missing... Okay, the Tryndamere is behind the tower now, which is what we want, because it just gives so much damage. Yeah, 25% there from the tower. And I think it could be a matter of, can the Tryndamere wrap to get onto that backline? As if it gets stuck on the Tarek too, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through that.
I wouldn't hate seeing the Sejuani swap with the Swain, just because we're currently missing out on the Freljord bonus, and for a 3-star, that's not a small amount of bonus HP you'd have from being in position, but looks like Pills is prioritizing positioning over raw defensive prowess. We'll keep our eyes very closely on where this Tryndamere goes through this fight. This time he is finding some of the softer targets to cut into. That Tarek, that TG Tarek, has been an absolute menace through the rounds before. This time he avoids taking down for a long time. The Kindred kicks in on the other side and locks the Tryndamere in place, which means he cannot DPS through. I think this is going to be it for Pills. The Freljord board has been very good. Oh, you might eat my words. The Ashe is doing a lot of work. One more cast out of the Ari, rather. And the Feather Knight will take it. Tryndamere goes second, but Feather Knight's cook is enough to get them off to the races with a first place.
Yeah, I do not know what this board is or where it has come from or who's created it, but I am suddenly obsessed with this because this is looking like something very different. I don't even know what to call it. Like Ionia Ishtal reroll? Like, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it seems to be something that they clearly have quite a lot of practice on and they know how to pilot it. And so far it's paying dividends for them.
I suppose the big consequence, as I will have a quick check to see if how the rest of our things are going at the moment, to see if maybe we can jump onto the other lobby. Please let us know in the chat if that is the case. Is that given that there's 100 units in the set, it's very possible that you can end up in a situation where you have a completely uncontested line because of just, you can just choose units and nobody else is playing at all.
Yeah, and I mean, as we've seen, as I said, the overlap of the traits looks really nice as well. You've got a really nice trait web that you're speccing in a lot of different things in, and they seem to have the experience in playing it. And sometimes that can be, that can be more powerful than just playing whatever the top meta comp is, something that you're familiar with and you know the ins and outs of how it works.
Oh, I have found the comp on TFT Academy. It's a C tier Ari Milio comp that apparently is much better than it was advertised, because jeez, that was crazy. I mean, it's 3-cost reroll ultimately, isn't it? It looks like it's... I think I've actually played this myself, that it's played from it can be played from a Yordle start, because Kabuko and Yumi and Kennen are like a 2-core 3-cost units in there that you can farm up, and then put Ari and Milio next to them, and then you've got yourself a pretty solid soup. We will be jumping into the other lobby, which looks like it maybe started a little late, so we might well be able to jump in with still a little bit left of the game. So this will be table 1. We'll be viewing it in just a second. Hopefully, that's still going. We've got, a couple of results already reported in, but we might be able to at least grab the top 4. We'll get some glimpses of what the rest of the lobby is looking like.
Yeah, as you say, that I guess it is a comp that is known to exist, even though it is currently sitting at the second lowest comp on the tier list on TFT Academy. But like you say, clearly they know how to pilot it, and sometimes that can be the strongest aspect.
Oh, there we go. We can just about jump in. Let's hop across immediately. For the last moments of GOAT versus F1. Flowbeam, you duped Draven the round after for tempo. Yeah, yes, the whole idea of having the You know,
Oh my god. That is a Tarek 3, Braum 3.
F1. What are you doing here? Oh, it's the Commerce Core last augment. Oh my god. That
But
seems
it doesn't
pretty filthy.
it doesn't seem like it was enough last round. I guess that Diana, I think that Diana, is it going to go? Okay, it's not going to go onto Lissandra. Now it is though, and it's looking unfortunate for F1. They've got two 3-star 4-cost tanks, but you've got a comp here that can go right into the backline.
Hold the
But is
phone.
it enough?
If you
These
keep any
these two
DPS
tanks.
alive to the end of the round, it's going to be good enough. Goes down F1 with 2 3-star forecasts.
Wow.
Manages to pull that one off. That's a spectacular way to end out our little glimpse into the other lobby. Astonishing stuff. I mean, I guess the good news, Nandonut, for what we were just seeing, is we're no longer seeing people dominating their lobbies whatsoever. We're seeing really up to the very edge of the line for every single one, at least from the last round. So we didn't even get a chance to check how much damage it is doing, because I know Tarek does have a little sneaky damage spell built into his regular damage profile as well, so, or regular tanking profile. Oh boy. Alright guys, what I'll do is I will set off our final round pairings, and we'll go to a short break while we get ready for everything to come to a head. Stick with us, and we'll be back in 7 minutes or less for our final round of the competition. Howdy, howdy, one and all. Welcome back to Counter's Casual Competition. Apologies for anyone who's now been stuck in that break, but you can't hear me anyway. So Nandonut, we come to our final round of the competition. I'm going to see if I can get these standings up in a way which is readable. Might need to... Never mind, that didn't work very well at all. But either way, we've seen a competition where a lot of the players we would have otherwise been expecting to see do well have not done well. And we're potentially in line for F1 especially to come through and really show his caliber.
Yeah, I mean, we had a look at our previous winners, Ichwin Batman and Get Slayed. Neither of them are going to be in our final top lobby. The GOAT is the only one who has a chance. Perhaps he will be appropriately named after this one. But there's a few players crowded towards the top of the standings, like you said, F1 at the top, who are looking like they have the highest chance of taking this one home. But we will have to keep track on the relative standings, who's in what position, who's looking to get how many points. It's always a bit of a task trying to keep on top of what the consequences of what positions are.
Yeah, I think we can kind of... I think this is... Yeah, it's going to show up in here. Yeah, so for F1, definitely the favourite right now, but yeah, nobody undefeated in the tournament at all. It's still possible for Kev Wu, who we saw before, and Nandonut and Beamy, to be able to win, but they will need the top 4 players to really all suffer some kind of disastrous game. I mean, it's not a huge gap between the two. Particularly, I think F1's probably where most people, if they're going to be kind of trying to take that first place for themselves, they may put a little bit of effort into making sure F1 doesn't have the game of his life. But aside from that, there's, I think, too many directions to contest to really do much more than just play your best game.
Yeah, and I think with the relative complexity of this set as well, there are so many things to be keeping an eye on throughout the game that I think managing to deny multiple other players as well can sometimes be a little stretch too far when it comes to mental capacity. I know I would find that anyway.
Well, I mean, as well, if you're one of the players who are on the lower points coming into this lobby, then you've absolutely got to worry about just trying to, even if you can't win the entire thing, if you get into second place here in Counter Casual Competition, you do get the same prize as first. So that's still a very legitimate thing to shoot for, even if you don't quite have the points to be able to take the crown yourself.
Yep. I think we're just waiting to get into game yet. We're not quite in game, is that right? We're waiting for the lobbies to start?
Yes. I'm just checking with... Oh, it looks like F1's in game, so I think... Let's just check what... Right, they are in game. I think my friends list is just not quite updating as quickly as it should be. But we'll be into our final game today to crown a casual competition champion. Gosh, that's a mouthful. Here for, I believe, number 110. It's probably higher than that, but I think I've forgotten quite a few other ones to number them properly across time. With F1 in the lead, Lucario Senpai just behind, so that's 14 points to F1, Lucario on 13, and then Drafu and Goat tied on 12 apiece. It's looking like so far across the majority of the competition, everyone who's doing well so far has had one game where they've done very well, and one game where they've done very average. I'm just really curious to see for this last game if it's going to be the players who go for the consistent maybe top 3, top 2 kind of finish who actually win out the entire thing, or if it is going to ultimately require a first place to get across the line.
Looks like I don't know if we have a issue counter.
Ooh. Yes, I'm going to see if I can... F1 did... Okay, I've got F1 who just DM'd me. Apparently they started without one of their players, so I'm going to see if I can... If you've not got all your players... Brackets? And I think you haven't... please quit and restart the lobby. Alright, so apologies for that. What we will do then in the meantime is we will grab people from... We'll spend a little bit of time checking out lobby 2 with Pills and Ickby and Batman in there. while they get that all sorted out, because yes, they shouldn't have started without all their players. I assume there was some miscommunication there, but we'll be into Lobby 2 in just a second. Given how close, let's see, so Pills is, I believe, the top performer from Lobby 2, and he's on 9 points. It's, let's see, so 9 plus 8, 17. It's not impossible that someone from the lobby we're coming up from could conceivably make it into the top 2. It will be a much larger stretch than it was for any of the ones in Lobby 1, of course.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess they could end on, what, 17 points? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not...
I mean,
by no means am I suggesting it's likely. It has happened only once before. But I suppose at least you've got a reason to try and hit the first place. I think it's a very tournament thing, though. That, you know, beyond a certain point of the tournament, you don't actually have control over where you finish at all.
yeah.
You're completely relying on other people doing well or badly, and you obviously can't control that. Unless you're at LAN, in which case, then you're in good stuff. I see. Right, that might be a problem that the random won't leave the lobby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that if there's 7 people and 1 random, they might be very confused when. I mean, I guess everybody else can surrender at, what is it? Is it like 10 minutes or something?
I think, yeah, 3-2 is what everyone is saying. It doesn't come up very often, so I don't tend to remember exactly when it is.
That one person is going to be extremely confused when 7 people surrender at the same time.
Alright, so what we'll do in that case is we will follow Lobby 2 until Lobby 1 gets underway once again. Apologies again for my overlay leaping in front of everything. I'm really going to figure out a way to disable that. BB and F1 apparently got some really good starts there, so apologies. But yes, please do make sure you've got all of your players before starting, or we do end up in a rather awkward situation. If we were playing on tournament round, this wouldn't be a problem at all. I'm pretty sure we could just... I don't know if we could do anything better, but either way. In Lobby 2, which we'll be in for the time being, we won't see this lobby to the end. Pills, Unholy Girl, and Enigma and Batman are all on 9 points apiece, so if they are playing for placement, they'll of course need that first place to give themselves even the, say, 2% chance they could sneak out a second overall.
Yeah, Batman here with a Noxus Quick Striker opener. This could be this line that uses the Draven Noxus opener and plays later on into, you know, like a Fast 9 Kindred type setup. Tries Reforging, I'm guessing trying to look for a Rage Blade or a Kraken, ends up making the Giant Slayer. On the other side, we've got late game scaling for Black Villain, playing a Yordle opener. I'm assuming will be some kind of Fast 9 flex type board.
Yeah, I mean, this was what we were definitely seeing when Yordles were giving 2 free rerolls around, but I mean, I can certainly buy into it. I mean, we've got what should be ultimately a pretty solid, you know, level 6 board that's being accelerated to with that extra XP to get those rerolls online a little bit faster. I don't hate it at all. I mean, Black Villain is taking some hits early on, but the value is very strong. Looks like I think we've got so far the 2 gold augments in play, so as Wild Growth comes in, Black Villain is tempted from the path of righteousness and says, you know what? I'm going to be a late game reroll Yordleborn.
Yeah, I do have a slight, I guess, combination of 2 different styles coming in between late game scaling and the Yordle one, in which, you know, I guess we're not going to get too much value from the late game scaling now. But the Yordle reroll one is pretty fun. I've tried it before. It just feels, honestly, sometimes it's just chill to just reroll, click on the units you need, and just build up those golden 3 rolls.
Well, I suppose since let's see. I remember that so they changed the Yordle to be that you get 100% more bonus from each Yordle who is 3-star, but it's still not a massive difference. Unholy Girl, she's managed to find the way into the Freljord line. I think at least in the immediate, especially with the itemization she's got, Unholy Girl is looking like an unholy menace in the lobby. She's just cutting these Yordles to pieces.
Yeah, we've got Stars are Born to get those, to get that early. I'm assuming it was the Tryndamere too, and then Celestial Blessing for the Omnivamp on top of the Hodge. I think we've seen a couple of times now already. This comp just looks to be a really strong, and definitely the strongest reroll comp at the moment.
Yeah, itemization is beautiful so far. We've got the chance for a Ginsu to be able to come through relatively easily. We've even got an Even Shroud just to make this a little... I mean, I know Even Shroud isn't quite as necessary with the Tryndamere's cut-through effect of ignoring 30% of the armor. But, you know, if Unholy Girl wants to just push as much power as possible through the board as quickly as possible, we do see a little bit of what we saw in the previous game as well. The Celestial Blessing being brought in just to provide that little bit more Omnivamp for the Tryndamere to make sure he stays alive while he's in the middle of the opposing team.
Yep, Pills on the other side as well. Looks like playing towards a Void line, raining gold into Pandora's Bench, so trying to roll some of those forecasts at the moment, although I guess you can't actually roll... But you could roll a Belveth and that's it, because you can't do it until you unlock the Herald and Kaiser. So it might provide... Well, speaking of, there we go. Right on time. So yeah, as you get those couple of unlocks in, might get more value out of the bench in that way.
Alright, we are receiving word that Lobby 1 is going to be restarting shortly. Thank you, the folks in Lobby 1, for basically sorting that out yourselves. Very much appreciated. So we will be dropping out this one once Lobby 1 becomes available, because of course we want to see who's going to be winning the entire competition overall, but we'll hopefully get a decent flavour of this one before we fully go. So Black Villain and Pills on lowest HP, that's the Yordle and the Void player. 7 or 7s on the Demacia, we're assuming reroll Vayne, and a really nice item set for that Vayne as well.
Yeah, a pretty strong setup. We don't really have our units at the moment. We literally don't have a single 2-star on the board, which doesn't feel that great. But I imagine maybe once we get to 7, try and roll for some upgrades before pushing 8. But the item setup is definitely there.
And with Prize Fighter as well, I mean, 7s is definitely playing you pretty aggressively. I wonder, yeah, if they might have stalled out a little bit, since we're seeing that they haven't got a streak in place right now. Up against Igby and Batman, let's see, so we've got a Darkin. I presume this is going to be the Darkin bow in place for the Draven. It's not a Draven 2 as of yet for the big increase in economic power, but I think it might be just good enough to continue to give this Prize Fighter board a little bit of trouble in getting those wins it needs to pick up those extra components.
Yeah, I will say the Vayne has ramped up, although the Draven gets onto the Vayne first. Can the Stoneguards do it? Not quite. The Draven board comes out on top. It is the Darkin bow. It has been nerfed after it was by far the most picked Darkin weapon from that augment. And you know what? I was wondering here whether you ever consider pivoting to an Ionia board if you've got a Yunara dropped here on 6. You don't actually have any 2-star Demacia units at the moment. I think it's something that I would consider, but I'm not sure if 7s is going to go for it.
It's not one of the better Ionia paths, but... sorry, yes. This is... I wonder if this would be one of the circumstances where you might otherwise be put off it just because of it being, you know, more keyed towards the reroll style, but either way, we'll check in with a few more players before we dip out of this lobby. Unholy Girl continues to be very scary. We've now got a third item in for the Tryndamere, focusing mostly on survivability, not actually attack speed. And we can see that... I wonder if there might be a bit of a damage differential compared to what this board could be longer term, as Unholy Girl will take the loss. Iggy and Batman at the top of the lobby will be out of commission as well. We are seeing, you know, a big HP difference though between our top 5 in the lobby and our bottom 3 right now. No.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to check because we're getting word that our other game is starting, so I guess we could jump into whenever it's available.
We'll give it a couple of minutes just to...
Okay.
Because we'll be on a spectator delay as well for it, so I think it will just leave us on the loading screen for a minute otherwise, but yes, thank you Flowbeam for letting us know as that one from Nandonut for noticing that's going on. There's a lot of stuff happening, and honestly, I haven't had quite enough coffee to keep up with all of it.
Yeah, I'm not too confident in Black Villain's current spot for the Yordle reroll. We are not particularly close to any 3-stars apart from the Lulu, and we are sitting on 31 HP. Decide to level before rolling. They've gone all the way to 8. I'm not entirely sure for what. I guess we will unlock Kabuko and Fizz next round, but for now, this is not doing a whole lot for us, and we've spent all our gold, so we are in no way any close to hitting 3-star Yordles.
I mean, I suppose given that the Yordle bonus is universal, that it's not a bad thing necessarily to have a bunch of expensive Yordles sort of buoyed up by the 3-star otherwise, but it's definitely a awkward marriage of ideas in this comp, and I think in this case it's going to be good enough to get the win against Pills, but I'm with you that we're going to see some very good Yordle grab bags, or this comp will just run out of steam entirely and fall over.
Yeah, I think you probably really want to go. I mean, honestly, I would take Commerce Core here. Or Money Monsoon, either way. But I was just surprised that they pushed 8 so quickly. I guess they're trying to get the grab bags in, but you've basically used all of your money in pushing to 8, and you really want to hit those 3-stars. All of which are, well, pretty much all of which are very low cost. So they've taken Commerce Core in the end. You have the rerolls, but you now have no money, so yeah.
We shall leave that situation unresolved as we will be heading into a restart of Table 1. Let's see if we can get in relatively. Okay, we've got about a minute and a half before it will let us into Table 1 once more. Let's see if we can just, if I can, bring up the standings in such a way. There we go. Wow. I need to figure out a better way of showing these standings on stream. But the ones I suppose we need to be most concerned about would be our top 8, which I believe will be, let's just count this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it will be everybody up to Beamy, who will be part of this next lobby yet to come. You can see all of their points laid out for you there. As we noted before, this will be a still fairly tight on points lobby because we don't have what we've had in previous competitions and a lot of other competitions where there's just one standout, clearly dominant player. F1's our closest we've got to it, but they're not on, you know, say the first kind of streak, which makes them the must-beat player.
Yeah, there's definitely potential for some of our, lower place. I say lower place, like our top 4 players to take that first place. It really depends on who performs on the day, who hits their units, and where everybody else is positioned. So it's something we'll have to keep on as the game goes on.
Alright, we'll be loading in just a second, so bear in mind this will be for the Casual Competition crown here in number 110. We noted before, the GOAT is the only returning champion still alive in the top table. I believe we'll be able to jump in just a second. So let's get this one underway. Apologies for the delay. Let's start ourselves off, perhaps with a little bit of aura farming.
Yep, gold opener. Decide to roll past it. Not sure what you take here. Possibly trade sector or heart of steel, depending on if you need items. Although it looked like it was the component start, so possibly a slightly lower value on item augment start.
In Demacia forever, when you've got a Rage Blade in pocket already, and we've got the 2 component anvils, if you were ever thinking that you struggle to find the vein items you need, this does feel like a portal to pretty much guarantee that you're going to be very close to BIS very quickly.
Yeah, only issue at the moment is you don't really have a holder. I wonder if you just play. Thing is, you want to get, you really want to get Demacia in to start stacking that HP. I think it is. Maybe you just play something like a Caitlyn or a Jhin and just put your Rage Blade on there. Gonna make our items here. I don't know if you look for vein items or if you look for frontline items. It looks like they're gonna go for vein items. but I'm not sure who your holder is at the moment. Oh, interesting. They actually make the Gunblade, which I know is supposed to be. I think the base is considered to be something like double Kraken Gunblade, and I'm guessing that's what they're going for here. They're just going to greed on the items, and try and hit that double Kraken a bit later on, or Kraken Rageblade.
I don't hate this just because some of these early rounds, as you can see, are very, very slow. So,
Yeah.
Gunblade does at least give a little bit more chance that the units will stick around long enough for the Demacian rally to kick in before they die. We can already see with the upgraded Jarvan, if we can do well off the carousel, and as you say, get a Kraken, get maybe a Ginsu's in as an alternate, I think Enigma's in a pretty solid spot.
Yeah, definitely looking like a strong start. I'm wondering what some of our other competitors are taking or running with, as we have a look around some of the other boards.
Yeah, let's see. So Nandonut is... Oh, managed to find a very early Draven and a Pilfer as well, doubling down economically. So you see Beamy on the other side saying that they are making their move in for a Diana play this game pretty early and authoritatively.
Yeah, it might be slightly early to stick the Rage Blade on the Leona. I feel like you might want to have that on some kind of carry until you can get the 2-star Leona and level 7 or whatever level it is. But definitely making their intentions known.
Let's see, so Beamy on 10, Nandonut with the very early, very, very early Draven here on...
Wow, they hit another Draven at level 4.
Gosh. I mean...
And I'm guessing they're rolling for Bard here.
Yeah, hit double Bard and the Scion in the same shop. Gosh. I mean, it doesn't actually feel like it's even that unreasonable to think we could be seeing a very early Draven too, and like economically, the injection of gold there would be astronomical.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I'm surprised or not that they're playing for Bard in this situation, because I feel like with the Draven, you kind of just want to play for win streak, killing units to get that gold. And Noxus is quite a kind of high tempo comp anyway. But I guess they just consider it worth it for now. Maybe until you hit something like the Draven 2, just sticking the Bard in for even more econ. And maybe also the possibility that it prints a Draven, although I think it's pretty biased towards 1 costs early in the game.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, but I suppose at least you can sell and maybe go up some levels and continue to put down pressure. For Nandonut, again, on 11 points, so one of our players who's definitely behind the curve tournament-wise, F1, the opposite, of course, our current tournament leader on 14 points, has taken an early Targon. Let's see, so that would be an early Zoe. Oh, could it be?
I don't know if a single Zoe is enough to play Aurelion Sol, but, we'll see.
I'm going to write down in my notes, a Sol waiting room.
I mean, that would be super hype for our last game of the day. I don't know how likely it is, but we'll see.
I did try some Aurelion Sol games recently. I was very disappointed with his current state. I was like, oh boy. Like, you could spend a lot of time making a lot of casts that do a lot on nothing. But for the GOAT, the GOAT is on 12 points right now and is on, of course, one of our highlight compositions of the entire tournament so far. Tryndamere, Ashe, and pretty solid item selection so far means that he's in a great position to try and punch above weight and maybe fish for that first or second place in the tournament.
Well, you say that, but we have taken Slamin as our augment, which firstly is generally used to push to higher levels, and also means you have to stick your items on, whereas the Tryndamere comp is one where you really want to be able to save up to BIS. So I'm not entirely sure what the plan is here. It does look like we're heading towards the reroll comp, but I'm wondering if there's any world where you somehow use this tempo into higher cost carries later on. I guess we'll see.
I suppose if, in the immediate, it will let the GOAT get to level 6. Up against F1, who's currently on the win streak, has taken the... I'm always trying to forget this one. Yes, it is. I was going to say, I think this is called Heart Steel, and it is. Heart of Steel actually allows F1 to beat out the board and if we look at the numbers, yeah, 144 Steadfast Heart, especially if you can pick up a couple of these longer term for F1, playing the long game here, find one more, Steadfast Heart, and you're looking at an enormous amount of front line that will let your Grinsu scale more or less infinitely.
Yeah, it could be a potential strong Ionia opener. They're not actually running Ionia at the moment. I'm not sure. I wonder if we could check what it is. Okay, extra attacks. It's not that crazy, but I do find it to be quite nice early in the game, something like a Jhin. They are playing the Leona as well, so I'm not sure. There's a few different options available. I guess we'll see what they head towards.
I mean, I'm just saying, if they get a Shojin out of the next creep round, who knows what could happen? I'm against the Nandonut on the other side.
Manifest here.
Maybe. I mean, F1, currently tournament leader, might go for something slightly more competitive, but I like to believe that the drive to just stick a big dragon on your field is more enticing than the possibility of proving your dominance.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I feel like Aurelion Sol from here is looking just about as good to me as Golden Egg Void, No Flame Deadly Ghost, but
I mean, the rewards are roughly similar.
True.
So Nandonut is our only win-streaking player then after F1 gets their streak broken. We've not managed to hit the Draven 2, which we were kind of hoping would be there, but the Caretaker has been, I think, just trickling in gold. So we've got gold coming in from Pilfer, we've got gold coming in from Caretaker, we've got gold coming in from Draven as well. This is the legendary triple econ start for Nandonut, and you combine that with the gold from winning as well. That's a lot of gold, Nandonut.
That's a lot of money. I feel like we're looking at a Kindred kind of Noxus Fast 9 type board here with the amount of money that's coming in, which I think could be a really strong option for Nandonut. So we'll have to keep an eye on how well they do. Really hoping for that Draven to pop up. Honestly, if you get offered some kind of duplicator here on the next augment, I would take that straight away and just try and win streak all your way to level 9.
Yeah, we're very close to actually cashing in the gold there as well. So we'll just pop down to the bottom end though, because I want to check in with Feather Knight. Of course, otherwise, he's on 12 points at the moment with an Ionian board. Again, this isn't an Ionian priority lobby by any means. Has been taking a little bit of a kicking, but doesn't look like they're kind of spec'd to lost streak here necessarily.
Yeah, and I was wondering whether we were going to have our Feather Knight playing 3 out of 3 of this Ari Milio boards. And it might be a bit too early to say, but they are carrying the Ari, they are holding a Kiana on bench, so I think they might be going for a 3 out of 3 in the same comp.
I think you're right, as we do see the Draven managing to cut through the Freljord board as well, which is struggling a little bit. Nandonut is definitely putting in some work. Again, the multiple income streams should mean Nandonut stays very, very healthy long term, as well as we go into the silver augment. So nothing to shake Nandonut's hold on the lobby. Who have we not looked at yet? Lucario. I think we found ourselves our Piltover player for the lobby.
Yeah, and taken missed connections. I don't know if we've already opened the Caitlyn or not, but we're either 1 or 2 away. I guess it's looking like 2. And sitting on so much gold, my god, 70 gold. Probably just rolling down here to try and hit the Caitlyn 3 and then push on towards our T-Hex, sitting 1 off now. Oh, and they had it on the
Oh, of course, they didn't pick it up. So I believe I know from previous sets there is a diagram of where each champion is in the circle, so you can know which one it is. By not picking up the one from the board, it makes it more it doesn't remove it from the pool until that happens. So Lucario really playing for the 5% advantages, and it does pay off. I mean, that's huge. 3-2. We're gonna have the 3-star come in. We'll have the Orianna come in next round. I think we're actually quite close to upgrading the Loris as well. So I always forget what Loris's name is because he's an arcane character. He doesn't do anything in the arcane apart from just be there as a mook. I'm like, this guy's got a name?
He was doing his best, man, okay? He was doing his best.
He's a door with a person attached. I
Harsh,
still
very
still
harsh.
choose to believe that Loris is the door and nobody knows what the name of the guy is.
Man, what did Loris do to you, man? Sounds like he killed your family.
He didn't have any characterization is what happened to me. I wasn't as... Can you tell I wasn't as fond of Arcane Season 2 as I was of Season 1? Ugh.
Really? No, I never would have been touched.
Alright, so let's focus back up. Let's see, on the other side we've got, I think this is, yes, Kev Wu. We haven't checked in with as of yet. We saw producers Woodwork from 4 on the Yordle line. Looking like a pretty solid board. I managed to get an early, what is that? Oh, Mogul's Mail coming in from very early on for another economic boom. I think the Piltover board's still a couple of rounds away from really coming to life, so Kev Wu will sneak in, get a little bit more out. Doesn't actually activate the Mogul's Mail, which is a little unfortunate, but it's still looking solid enough.
Yeah, I feel like if you're playing with the Mogul's Mail, I would like try and solo frontline the Poppy just so she's absorbing many attacks as possible to get that stacked up, instead of spreading out the front line. But yeah, we'll see what people are heading towards. Deadly Ghost giving us a little update, maybe a little retribution for our comments on him earlier.
Oh yeah, oh no, Diana 3's been hit by himself in Lobby 3. Congratulations, that's a shame we didn't get a chance to see that for ourselves. DG, if you do have a chance to, it might be a little bit too late, but I hope you were able to clip that one because that's pretty amazing. Speaking of amazing though, in our lobby, the Nandonut remains in firm control. Remember, this is our 4-stream income player. Draven, the Pilfer, what was the other stuff? From the Caretaker. What's the other stream as well? I can't remember. I'm sure there was another one in there somewhere. But it's managed to maintain. Oh, and also win streaking. There we go. That's maintained the whole across the whole lobby.
Yeah, for sure. I was actually wondering if they were going to do this. It looks like they took teaming up as a second augment. I'm guessing, well, partly for the econ and partly in the hope that you get dropped to Draven, because if you do, that would just spike your board so hard. Looks like they didn't hit it, unfortunately. And on the other side, we can see Enigma, who has now hit that supposed BIS on Vayne with the double Kraken Gunblade. Still a while off spiking yet, probably, but stacking up that AP on the Demacia augment as well.
Yeah, Enigma looking like in a pretty decent spot. I think around the rolling for days. Sorry, I'm just so distracted by that sleepy kitty up in the top left-hand corner. Oh my gosh, I don't think I've actually seen this board in person before, but immediately overstimulated. Quick, let's get out of here. Lucaria Senpai finds the T-Hex. Again, the very, very early arrival on the board. Itemization-wise, we're looking at some very good items for maximum punch out of our T-Hex. I mean, I guess ideally we would have, maybe that third damage item rather than just attack speed, because he's already casting extremely quickly, but I'm sure we can find a place for that Ginsu's long term.
Yeah, we could turn it into something like a Morello's goes nicely on a on Seraphine, or a red buff or something like that. I think you'd quite like to have a healing item like the Hodge on the T-Hex if you can. On the other side, Diana has been hit by Beamy. Got the 2-star Leona pretty nicely early, and it's looking like it's going to be Diana versus the T-Hex. I'm not sure who wins this. The healing is pretty strong on the Diana, but currently lacking a little bit of damage.
Yeah, the drop-off, I think once everyone else dies, and all of the mini-rockets are hitting,
yeah,
I don't think BB can quite do it. Even with the scaling power of the Ginsu's in there, it does feel like the T-Hex is a big stat check for the rest of the lobby, that here at level 6 in stage 3, you've got a 5 cost, or a 7 cost, I believe, in place to... No, just a 5 cost. But like a boss monster in place that you very likely just can't out DPS at all.
Yeah, honestly, I was talking to my friend about this yesterday. I'm really surprised that there's no level requirement on the T-Hex unlock.
There should be.
I was watching Dish Soap yesterday, and it was the Rising counter, and he had a Piltover emblem, and he hit T-Hex on 3-2, level 5. I feel like that should not be possible.
It does feel like that's a fundamental design problem with the set, is that there's been so many things where they've had to add level requirements on, and I think this will probably not be the last thing that people discover is way too good. But I mean, design rarely survives contact with the mass player base. Lucario in a great spot to keep pushing momentum. A ton of items in the pocket will slam down that little bit of extra Last Whisper power. I think we could conceivably see a... We don't really have a whole lot for it, but long term, we're looking for a Lucian and Senna to come in as our secondary gunslinger, so that red buff will see use. On the other side, though, I believe this is our Feather Knight friend who's continuing to pick their lane and play nothing but the same thing every single game.
I mean, I will be very impressed if they manage to make it to the top, playing what is apparently the lowest rated comp according to TFT Academy anyway. But they really seem to know the ins and outs of this one. Like I said before, that can be a real strength. I was surprised that Lucario didn't actually opt for the Hodge. I feel like late game the healing can be really strong on the T-Hex, though they chose to go for the Last Whisper instead. We'll see whether that works out for them or not. My god, those carries were attacking extremely quickly and the Jhin just about comes out on top.
It's not quite a traded place, but that is a 2-stage streak from Nandonut brought to an end. Bear in mind, in this lobby, Nandonut is, let's see, 11 points, so one of our lower points players overall in the standings, has had an incredible early run. And of course, Nandonut, we've seen what this kind of Draven board tends to become later on. Kindred coming in because of just the ludicrous amount of econ. You can put together the level 9, even level 10 board of your dreams.
Yeah, and the Draven 2 on the board now. I'm not sure how long they've had that, but that is definitely a big spike and can carry you pretty far. Looks like they're going to be opting to try and unlock the Skarner as a main tank. You've got the Stone Plate on the Bard. So that will be a pretty strong one to come in. And yeah, we'll just be heading straight to 9 as quickly as possible.
Up against the Piltover in this round, we can see... I'm actually noticing that we're not seeing that many casts coming in for the... Oh, that's right, no, sorry, it's the Magnetron coil. It's interesting, actually. So this is so I'm just going to check on Lucario. So Lucario not going up to Piltover 6 to go for the maximum gold farming, maybe because of the currently relatively low levels. I'm assuming this is because we never actually found the Seraphine. And so we don't have the ability to get infinite gold in the way that some of our other players have been managing.
Yeah, Mining Drill, definitely a very strong one. Just very satisfying as well. All of that gold just prints out after 8 seconds or whatever it is. So yeah, holding the Orianna on the bench. We're probably, gone 8 very early with not too much gold. Are they going to make that Garen 2? They are, okay.
Oh.
So maybe that will be a main tank for now, but it does mean we are going to be quite far off hitting Seraphine and T-Hex 2, but potentially hoping that, the arrival of the T-Hex will help them streak and recover that gold.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. This feels very risky for Lucario, who's on 13 points, which is just 1 point behind F1, our current tournament leader. Sure, you might find the Seraphine quickly, but you've blown through your whole bank account. And sure, once the Piltover 6 is online, you recover that very quickly, but that might not happen in the immediate.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're banking on this T-Hex carrying them through. It looks like it will just be enough to win this round. We will see if they're able to recover that gold enough to fit in that 6 Piltover and try and go 9 to roll for T-Hex too, because I mean, that's really what this comp needs.
I suppose we might be able to find one on this carousel, conceivably. But Lucario Senpai, took the big risk, has managed to maintain his win streak nicely towards the end. Just taking a quick look around the rest of the lobby. The GOAT, Kevwu, and Beamy all in the 30s. The GOAT, this was the Ashe Tryndamere board. That's actually, surprisingly, given how well we've seen it play before, struggling in this lobby.
Yeah, we might have to take a look at their board afterwards, because this was the Ashe Tryndamere with slamming, which I was not particularly convinced by, both because it's not really econ for rerolling, and also because it forces you to slam items and to level up maybe when you don't even want to. Okay, we're finally hitting... Okay, we're just hitting our Tryndamere now. And items are, as you can see, having to slam some items which you might not like, and we've got, mixed items on our Ash and Tryndamere, which means we're not going to hit 3 items for another 2 rounds. So they're going to be hoping that just the raw power of the Ash 3, Tryndamere 3 can carry them, and then try and make those items later on.
Oh, thank you, Deadly Ghost. We'll play the clip of you getting Diana 3 after this game is done. But our immediate concern, is whether or not Lucario Senpai can be defeated. We did see this matchup before, the Tryndamere versus the T-Hex. Not go great for the T-Hexes because the raw damage isn't quite there. In this case, I think it will be favored towards Lucario. As the Tryndamere drops, the rest of the board just doesn't have enough left in the tank. The Goat takes another L, pushing them down to 20 HP. And, I think we'll get to PvE to hopefully finish off that item set, but I'm not feeling super optimistic about the Tryndamere Ashes board's chances.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to win every single round after creeps to stay alive. And I think you can see the difficulty of slamming here. Like, you've got the Shojin on the Ash, which you don't necessarily need. You'd much rather have that BF sword now for the Bloodthirster on the Tryndamere, who currently doesn't have any healing outside of the Slayer. So I think some of the difficulty of playing this kind of setup for the Ash Tryndamere comp, we'll see if he can make it out.
Alright, so things are not looking good for the GOAT, for Kev Wu. This is our Yordle player, has managed to hit up to 8 Yordle, I presume. Oh no, it's only I didn't even just clock that this might even be a Tristana 2 in play. I wonder if we might be pivoting out here, because certainly the late game Yordle units do tend much more towards AP than they do AD. But Kev Wu right now has very little room to work with up against the Nandonut. The master of economy in this game continues to be an absolute force to be reckoned with. The Draven's still there farming up gold. In this case, though, I think Kev Wu might just have a strong enough front line to deny a big boot to the face. Skarna is so strong. The targeting is good, and the Nandonut takes the L. Kev Wu stays up.
Very close indeed, and I think we are definitely looking towards some kind of Yunara flex from Kev Wu, both based on the units he was holding on his bench. Possibly the Freljord version, because I think he had a Lissandra and an Ashe there. But it looked like he'd spent all his rerolls already from the Yordles, unless it's the UI that doesn't update. So we'll see whether Kev Wu is able to put together... Yeah, no, he has actually. I guess he must have rolled on 8, whereas I think often you quite like to just go fast 9. So he's going to have to go... I'm quite interested to see. I think we might want to watch this after this round, because he's going to have to go 9 and do his roll down very quickly to be able to put himself back in a good position.
We've kind of ended up in the same situation we have from Feather Knight, which is that we're pivoting into sort of a variation of that idea. So remember, this is not one of the better Ionians, but Path of Blades, it does make your, particularly your Yunara directly stronger. It just doesn't give you any of the economic benefits that the other Ionians would. Wait, we've got Exiles, and we're playing Freljord.
This is slightly awkward.
Oh boy, I think this is more than slightly awkward. This is desperation from Kev Wu.
I think he's either opted into this deliberately or he has forgotten. I assume he hasn't forgotten, because I guess when he was playing the Yordles, he still had them spaced out. Not that I could say I blame him, because I have regularly forgotten to have Exiles or Best Friends or one of those ones, and only at the end of the game have I realized that I was actually playing down an Augment. We'll see whether it doesn't look like it's going to be enough against this Vayne. Looking very close, but Kev Wu might be going down to 1 life here. And the GOAT is indeed out.
Gosh, the Ash Tryndamere just didn't work at all. That's Feather Knight taking the first kill of the game with this very specific, very determined board that nobody else is contesting them on whatsoever. I think I'm going to... to be fair, that's the advice I have seen online, which is just pick a line, ideally on a line that other people are not playing, and just spam the heck out of it, and you will have good results, because, you'll get the consistent results, because you're never going to miss your units.
Yeah, it's a very interesting strategy here. So far, it seems to be working relatively well. I think it was a 5th into a 1st. We will see whether it ends up being enough to cap out the board. I think going against Kev Wu now, if I'm not mistaken, on 1 life, we will see if it's going to be enough for Keru to survive. The Wukong 2 is already going pretty low, but will the Ari damage be enough? It looks like it's going to be very close, actually. Ooh, and I think Keru might be out.
Surely, and yes, that's our second elimination in, which leaves the remainder of the lobby split between those on higher HP from Feather Knight upwards and rounds 2 to 3 lives from the bottom. Enigma, of course, with the Demacia Forever and the Vayne board, is expected to get a decent finish, but Enigma is on 9 points compared to current tournament leader F1, who's on 14, so Enigma at best is hoping the first place to at least steal as many points and try for the second overall.
Yeah. Just having... Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I was getting a little bit confused. I think the points from the second game have come in, which is why the top 8 is not our current lobby. I was like, have we not put the people in the right lobby? But it's just...
No, it's always a thing on the... Because the scoreboard up is a live scoreboard, things do get a bit confusing. That's why I wrote down the points for everybody ahead of time. I will send those to you in the caster chat. I think I've got at least most of the players, if not all of the players. But still, F1 is still remaining the player to watch in the competition on 14 points compared to Lucario on 13. And Unholy... No, sorry. Right, so Unholy Goal was in the other lobby. So it's really between F1 and Lucario for our two most likely winners. But Lucario is down to 7 HP. And I'm not sure if they've actually going to bother going... No, it looks like they're not going to bother going for the Piltover 6 this game, perhaps at all.
Yeah, we'll have to see when we get back whether they are level 9, so you'd hope that they've been able to hit the TX2, but it depends how much gold they've been able to roll. Like you say, they're going for the 4 Piltover setup. We don't even have a pair yet, which feels pretty bad. We do have a center pair, which is something. But yeah, we really want to be hitting that TX2.
Okay.
And, yeah, I think if you're not able to hit either that or the center 2 now, I think it's going to be very difficult. You have a very strong front line, but the back line is currently lacking a little bit.
So if we do see Lucario go down relatively quickly, which seems like it's going to be quite likely, we've got 2 players out already, which of course propels the points forward of anyone else remaining. But certainly, if Lucario is out, then it becomes down to players like Feather Knight, who are a couple of points behind F1, to try and dethrone him from the top. As the Ionia board is now online, we can see a variation of what we saw from Kevwu. Actually not good enough to deal with a TX, and maybe... I mean, given that I suppose that Piltover 6 is purely an economic option for the TX a lot of the time, staying at 4 and just looking for raw board power seems to be enough to keep Lucario from being knocked out early.
Yeah, I think this option is quite strong because you can get in multiple wardens. Usually, I will say we often see the Vi drop for Seraphine, and then you can add in something like a Zir for a 2 disruptor. But choosing to keep the Vi in at the moment, even though not running with the defender option. But I think they are just going to be rolling down every turn. If they can get through this turn, they might have a slightly higher chance, given that they'll have a little bit more money after the creep round. Try and hit that TX2, and Senna 2 would be really nice. But going up against Feather Knight's Ari Milio board, they've actually swapped out the items from the Milio onto a Rise here. Running with Ionia, Ishtar, Yordle, and Targon. Will it be enough to defeat this T-Hex? It's looking a little close. The healing is there on the T-Hex. Skarner is very tanky, and it looks like the T-Hex has been able to get through the Ari in the back, so Feather Knight is going to be going down to 1 life most likely.
This is a really good illustration, because certainly having played a bit with the TX myself, positioning is so incredibly crucial. Both of the backliners getting hit by the laser is unacceptable. You saw that, especially for, I believe is a 1-star Rise, he will go down in a hurry. It does leave Nandonut, though, of course, who has been dominating since the start of the lobby, in pole position right now on 11 points overall, and still on path with the XRs and the Kindred 2 to have what could easily become a first place game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a first place game, but I'm not sure if it will be enough for them to take first place in the tournament unless F1 drops potentially below 4th or 5th. So I feel like F1 is potentially in a pretty good spot. The HP totals are very low though, so anything could happen from this point.
We're in an incredibly volatile part. We've got 4 different players on a single life. Where they finish, as you said, completely constricts the remaining finishes available in lobby. We know Nandonut and F1 are not going to be knocked out this round, but if 2 or maybe 3 of the remaining players are, that means F1's in a great position overall, where it's just not possible for him to really finish low enough to be in any major danger. I want to keep an eye closely on Lucario Senpai as the main challenger to F1's supremacy up against the Nonan's board. I just don't know if there's enough punch here to get through. We've got that hand of justice you mentioned before, Nandonut, but we've got just a ridiculous amount of units from the Nonan side, and the Kindred is going to make it so it's so hard to actually confirm those kills.
Yeah, this one was not even close. Unfortunately for Lucario, not able to hit that T-Hex, even pair, not able to hit the Senna 2, and they will be going out. In the meantime, we've got Enigma versus against Beamy, and the Vayne 3 will take it out. So Beamy's out, Lucario is out, and we have 4 people still alive. F1 is actually down to 2 HP now, so it could be a very close battle for the top spot. I'm trying to think about the points. This is when it starts to get slightly complicated. I believe Feather Knight is only 2 points behind F1. So
yes, that's right.
Two position differential, then it might go down to a tiebreaker, or depending on who gets first place. F1 really wants to win this round, but they're going up against Ninonan, who looks like the strongest board in the game. And so I think they might struggle to not go out here. They're probably just praying that Feather Knight goes out as well, and I think that might give them first place.
Alright, we'll keep our eyes closely on F1. The Noden is on the win streak right now, so that's likely to continue. Sayonara is doing her damnedest to provide that late game power, but I just don't even think it's going to be a little bit close. So let's pop across to Feather Knight and see how he is doing with his patented Ari Emilia reroll board. And we've been told it's C tier, but we're seeing something different here with our eyes. F1 is gone, Enigma is gone as well. It's a difference of whether or not Enigma takes enough damage to drop below F1 in the standings, and he does not. F1 with the 4th place means that I believe we've opened some doors.
So F1 will be sitting on 19 now, I think. Enigma was very far off, will be sitting on 15. And so now I'm trying to think, if Nonan wins, they go to...
they would go to 19.
They go to 19 as well. And Feather Knight in second would go to...
would go to 20.
We could have,
no,
we
sorry,
have 3
19
people
as well.
on 19.
If it's tied up, then the most recent result will be the difference maker. So the Nonan, we'll have to wait for the confirmation from the sheet that calculates all this stuff for us, but it's seeming like we got from the very first round, Nandonut, that playing hyper dominant and the 4 income stream in the Nonan proves to be insurmountable. That's a dominating final end to the round. The Nonan crushes through with nearly 50 HP left in the tag. That was a hell of a game.
Yeah, and the board was the strongest by far. And is it strong enough to take the first place?
Oh, interesting.
I do not pretend to know how the tiebreakers work.
I thought I knew how the tiebreakers work, but I'm going to double check that with myself, because I believe that the tiebreakers are accounted for automatically. So I'm just going to quickly open up the rulebook and just double check that that's, because it's just sometimes hiccup. Let's see. So Drafu and Nona both have got 19 points respectively. Let's check the tiebreakers. So I think there might be a secondary tiebreaker that's kicking in maybe ahead of what I'm thinking of. So it's ties to be broken based on number of first place finishes, which is in this case is the same.
Yep.
Then number of second place finishes, which is the difference maker. Drafu finished second in that last game, so they have one more second place than the Nandonut does, who has only a third and fourth. So Drafu will be our winner for today. Gosh, just based off tiebreakers, it was actually a three-way tie. F1 was also on 19, but because the third and fourth places were not quite as good, they will finish out third overall. So let me just get that in the announcements. So Drafu is our winner. Nandonut is our second place. So I will see. There's no guarantee at all that anybody who's playing has a microphone to be able to even take an interview with us, but I will see if Drafu is. Are you? Should we get a stock text for this? Up for an interview. Please join any voice channel if you are. Oh yes, and while we wait, let's take advantage of Deadly Ghosts. A link here to. I'll see if I can bring this onto stream. I'll do this as its own thing. Let's see. So this will be a clip.
In another voice channel as well.
Oh, brilliant! All right, let's. I'll just see if we can play the clip quickly, and then we'll get that one out of the way. That's insights. Seen that somewhere. Apologies. This is what happens when I'm asked to do anything. There we go. Okay, we will very quickly bring in this video, which hopefully will work. Let's see if this will actually show up on stream. Not well, as it turns out. Second. There we go. Let's just watch DG manage to pull off.
It was your Aurelian Soul board as well that you were hoping for.
Oh my god!
2-star Aurelian Soul 2.
And there's our 3-star Diana. Well done, DG. You managed to fulfill everybody's dreams at the same time. I just want to watch one cast from Aurelian Soul and the Diana. Does Diana doesn't even seem like she does anything particularly interesting at 3-star.
I think it's because at the moment, when you play Diana with Leona marks all the frontline targets, so Diana's often just jumping between the first.
All right, well done.
The raw power was too strong.
Whew. Well, congratulations, DG, on making that one work. Let's hear from Drafu, our tournament winner, though. See if we'll try and get Drafu in here. Drafu, there we are, in the chat. And now on the stream. Drafu, apologies for the wait. Congratulations on the win. I don't know if you saw that you were in a 3-way tie with Nandonut and F1 for first place. So every placement you made in this tournament mattered. How does it feel to be the champion here today?
I'm feeling a little bit nervous, to be honest. It's my first tournament win ever, and I'm playing a long time TFT, so I'm pretty happy and pretty nervous right now.
Wow, congratulations. I'm glad to hear that. I think for me, it's a very obvious question. You clearly favored this Ari, Milio, Ishtar, Ionia line. You got to tell us a little bit more about it. What do you think you've seen in it? Why do you think it's strong? And why were you playing it 3 out of 3 games?
To be honest, I just saw somebody playing it on stream today in another stream, and I was like, "Oh, wait, why is this comp so good?" And then I just investigated a little bit of my time to get behind it, why it is so good, and I just wanted to try it out. To be honest, I wanted to try it out 3 times. How is the condition every game? I mean, with different Ionia regions, it's a little bit difficult to play, but yeah, I just want to try it out. Why is it so strong?
Yeah, well, we saw that it was listed as a C tier comp on TFT Academy. What do you think given your results, it does seem absolutely that it's a comp worth pursuing. What do you think people are missing then, that this is not more popular?
I think it's just like the fact to hit Ari free is a little bit very very hard right now, because if you don't have like the money augment or some good starts, so you are not even able to play like reroll lines right now, because level 9 boards are too strong in the meta right now still. Like this Kindred board, I'm pretty sure even if I have the best Ari board in the world right now, I will lose 10 out of 10 fights against it. Like it has to be a specific spot, but I think the most thing people are missing is like Wukong 2 needs to be the primary carry, tank carry. I think a lot of people are going to play Skarner right now because they know Skarner is pretty good, but I think Wukong is more the best tank in this comp. I think people are not like investigating their time to research about this comp.
No, absolutely. I think we are definitely going to be taking the one forward into our own games to try and gain some LP. And I don't know, was there anything else you'd like to ask our champion before we let them go for today?
Yeah, I mean, well, firstly, again, congratulations. I'm glad to hear that you've managed to pick up your first tournament win. Are there any last tips you'd give to people on this comp, like conditions to play, things to look out for? And also, I'm just wondering if you plan to play it every game, or if you just found yourself in the spot for.
I just planned to play it in every like in every spot. Like in the third lobby, my spot at the beginning was a little bit off because I didn't even get like 3 Ionia in, so I have to play like 1 Ari and 2 Jins the whole stage 2, which is not a really good spot for this one. But I think you can play it at any spot, and the specific main reason you need to focus on is like you need Spear of Zojin, AP Grid on Ari, and most likely a third item which gives you a little bit attack speed, or like something like Rage Blade or Spear of Zojin or Nashor's. And you have to itemize Wukong, pretty sure. Like Wukong is by far the best tank in this comp.
Oh, thank you. Well, Jeffrey, before we let you go for today, is there anyone or anything that you would like to shout out and let the Casual Competition viewers know about?
Thanks for that you are doing this tournament for us. I'm really happy that you guys are doing these tournaments regularly, like the solo cup, the duo cup. This is one of the most fun time I have when I play TFT right now. So big thank yous to you that you are doing this tournament for us.
Oh, thank you so much.
Amazing.
All right, Jeffrey, feel free to stick around if you like. We will be doing the last part of the stream here, which is our other giveaways. So I'm just overloading myself with. So yes, Jeffrey and Nandonut. For anyone still watching at this point, do bear in mind we've got a double up competition coming through in a couple of weeks' time, just because there aren't many other places that run double up competitions, as it turns out. Just before we go into the last giveaways, Nandonut, you mentioned that you might be thinking about getting back into your art once again. Is there anything you'd like the good people to know about? As I'll drop a link to your Instagram in the chat in a second.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're into that kind of thing, I'm kind of like work with ink mostly, sort of abstract doodle type art. Like I say, I've been taking a break for a bit, but I'm hoping to get into it as I can. So feel free to follow me there if that's something that you're interested in.
Yeah, Lines of an And. All right. Putting out the last bits and pieces. So let me just pull up the last one here, which will be our Wheel of Names. So we've got more than a few folks to be able to. There we go. Where? I've really got to think of a better way of displaying this on stream. It looks terrible. I'll stick it over my own face. There you go. That's a little bit more acceptable. So these will be for the rest of the people who are playing in today's competition. Let's see. Well, Drafu, as our champion, would you mind counting us in for our first of our 3 main giveaways for today? Just 3, 2, 1, and go.
Just the countdown from 3 to 0, or?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, go!
Nice. I appreciate the enthusiasm, and also
That was a good one.
Donut, I appreciate you doing the presenting the wheel part as well. That was excellent. Sevens will be our first round of winner. Congratulations. Now, Donut, would you mind counting us in for number 2?
Yeah, sure. I mean, since we've got to pay respects, I've got to give it to the RE1, RE2, RE3.
Nice. All right, who will be our second prize winner? It looks like it will be the Mighty one. Congratulations, Mighty. And I'll count us in for our last main prize winner. 3, 2, 1. We'll also, after this, have our Northern Legends prizes as well from them. And it's Batman. Didn't manage to win at the competition this time, but did still manage to win a prize. Our random winners. Okay. I think I might end up consolidating some of the Northern Legend prizes so we don't have to give up quite as many away at the tail end. 5 more from Northern Legends, if you wouldn't mind, from Drafu.
Oh my god.
Counting us in one more time.
Again from 3 to 0?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh my gosh, Drafu, we're going to have you back as the official ring announcer for future tournaments. Alright, so Northern Legends prizes. 100 tokens each. First will be to Lucario Senpai, who did do a very good game. Or a very good tournament. Okay, Nandonut, if you could give us number 2.
Yeah, well, from our Paris Open, I'm going to go 3, 2, 1.
He could be like all of the French people who worked there who just didn't understand what I was saying. I did manage to progress. By the time I left, they thought I was Spanish rather than French, so I could that a real progression. That's right, rather than English. So I call that a win. Pills, congratulations. Alright, and I'll do this one in a southern accent, and we didn't get to do it from the previous time, which is 3, 2, 1. What a lovely day. More of a Tam Kench impression than anything else, actually. Whoops. It's the GOAT. Congratulations. We're almost done. Sorry, Drafu, we're working quite hard this time. Would you... I swear this is for the last time. Would you mind counting us in one more time on the 3, 2, 1s again?
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go!
Oh my gosh, Drafu's so versatile. And it will be...
I'm not seeing the nerves at all either.
Yeah, no. We're made for this. Drafu, do you stream at the moment?
Yes, I do stream at the moment right now, yeah.
Oh, we gotta... Could you...
Very cool.
What's your stream? Because you seem like you're very entertaining with your countdowns, so you can imagine what your streams are like.
My stream is quite, very quiet, to be honest. But yeah, if I'm like in the mood or something, yeah, then a little bit. It's Drafu with underscore and then TFT.
Oh right, yes, Drafu underscore TFT. Yes, your Discord is linking, I think, maybe to your old one.
Yeah, that's yes, you're right.
Oh, you're actually
Okay.
live at the moment.
Yes, so please go check out Drafu. I mean, I'm very impressed with the countdown. All right, Nandonut, literally the last one. I'm going to consolidate some of these prizes into maybe some bigger prizes going forwards, because this is way too many. The final countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, who will be the final lucky soul before we head out into the night for today? It will be Gets Laid. Congratulations. So please to go check out Northern Legends if you haven't already. They are a great, if you happen to be in Northern Europe, of course, they are an amazing initiative to give people tournaments to play in. Very similar in vibe to this. That's just more Northern Legends winners. I'm just going to copy paste that into the server as well for anyone who's not already part of their server. We much do appreciate them. They've also sponsored competitions from us before. Apparently the... Oh no, I messed up the link, I suspect. Yes, I did. But the Discord is also linked in the chat. For now, well, Drafu, since you did such a great job, I think, what are you going to carry on streaming after this?
Yes, I'm planning to play some ranked now. I'm trying my luck with Ari in the ranks now.
I think it sounds like this is a chance for us to receive a masterclass from yourself on the whole experience. So we're going to raid across to you once the timer has run down. Jeffrey, congratulations again on becoming our champion of Cantor's Casual Competition number 110 from a 3-way tie. And I guess we'll see you on your stream.
Thanks.
And we're out. I completely forgot to say anything about the next tournament, but hey, whatever. I put it in the chat. Alright guys, I'm going to go fall over because I've completely run out of energy and internal bodily electricity. Nandonut, thank you so much for coming and joining in.
Worries.
And yeah, well, let me know if you're free in a couple of weeks' time. Jeffrey, great job, and have a great stream.
Thanks.